this is different. This is magnificent, man. And I like this. I enjoyed myself to the fullest, and I can't wait to come back on. I can't wait to see it, see more of the people on here.
And it's also wonderful to hear people talk sanely to each other.
You have something amazing going with the show because you're there and you're educating us.
I mean, yes, pain is inevitable. I mean, there's a reason we have these sensors in our body. I mean, they're warning signs. In other words, something hurts. Obviously, something is amiss.
She told me her story again about her and her dad, but she also said, by the way, my father passed away. She's an only child, and she didn't have any family. And she asked me to walk her down the aisle. That's the part that changed.
It's just that cruel moment of when you realize there is no hope. That tears at me, but it doesn't tear at me anymore because there was hope. I hung on just long enough to come out the other side. And here I am. Look at me, all beautiful and stuff.
This thing has drawn me out of myself and thereby drawn me into myself. But I learned a lot. And from you, Avi, I always learned something from you.
Continue to work as hard as you can, because by working, Avi, you will keep yourself busy and get used to the grief.
Another trio of questions, now more underrated. We have Billy D. Williams, Italian men named Skippy or Unicycle.
I'm sorry, Italian men named Skippy. Put me away, Avi. That's
Archie Bunker, the mountain climber. Ralph Cramden, the yoga instructor, or Don Corleone, the computer repair person.
It's clearly an issue with the hard drive.
I'm going to go Don Corleone.
Where I went around, I visited all the adults first in the Stony Brook University Cancer Center, and then I visited the children. And I would say the adults were at least as enthused and joyful to see Santa.
And I got a chance to get to know Joe Weider. Joe was like a second father to me. He took me under his wing. He introduced me to art. He introduced me to history.
There are those of us who like to venture to the unexplored, to see the beauty in the strange and unknown. Those of us who go out there with a sense of wonder. It's the magic of risking everything for a dream that nobody sees but you.
Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the shadow of the shade. Yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me, unafraid. God, matters not how straight the gate, how punishment charged the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice. Let me tell you about a voice. The one that whispers. It tells me what's right and what's not. When to leave and where to go. It's not Shakespeare. It does not speak in memorable lines. My inner voice always gives it to me straight. Tells me who my real friends are. When to say yes, when to say no. Whether the person sitting next to me is the one I'll be spending the rest of my life with.
You already know that dedication, hard work, and perseverance gives positive results.
Let your instincts guide you.
What would you do if you weren't an actor? If you didn't make it as an actor, what would you do? I have no idea. I would act somewhere, because I'll die if I don't.
A blast. Oh, I want to dance with somebody.
There we go.
I'll do it.
I do too right now, guys and gals. And you know,
but I was going, Tom, Don, I'm a true fan. Yo, I never watched all of your movies through, Tom, because they scared the crap out of me. Love y'all, man.
Pleasure. Great to meet you. It's great to meet you too, Trent.
Yeah, Avi, you did a great job.
Hi, I'm Rick Barry, a member of the Basketball Hall of Fame and one of the NBA's top 50 players. And I'm really excited to tell you about my new relationship in the broadcasting world with the new network.
It's TKN, and a young man named Avi Klein has poured his blood, sweat, and tears into creating this new network and assembling an amazing group of individuals to co-host shows with him.
Legends from every walk of life who are just bringing their knowledge and their experience and their wisdom, and this is amazing. I feel like this is a cosmic convergence of what is most important to him, and he's such a stand-up guy.
Here, but with a very warm heart for Avi and thanking him for all the work he's put into creating the new network. For me, I have just a teeny part of this in terms of having a program that's based on storytelling, where I get to share some of my stories with you.
I can't even imagine how hard Avi Klein worked. He tells me he gets 4 hours of sleep a day, and I actually believe that, because Avi is so passionate, he works so hard.
There is nothing that was on TV tonight that even remotely rivals what we did on this broadcast.
I am so grateful for our friendship. And you know what? You appreciate things in people that make such a difference. You make each of us feel like we're more than we know how to even thank you. Anyway.
He's very respectful, and he really connects with the artists and his audiences. And I felt like this guy's on to something, and I'm proud to be a part of this with him.
And I really thank your support. I lost my father, and you were the first person to support me in all that, and I thank you so much for that.
Avi, congratulations. I don't know anybody that can talk as much as you. Seriously, I thought I could talk. You are unreal. But you do it with class, understanding, professionalism. You're simply amazing. I told you that when I first met you, and you ran off my autobiography. It basically was a book. It was simply fantastic. And to think that you do that every show.
Greatest wealth is when you can share it with someone. You can share your victories, you can share your failure, you can express your deepest feelings, but the greatest wealth is to be able to say that I have a friend. And I feel an unbelievable level of wealth. And a lot of that is because I have somebody like you.
Last name Ventura, first name Jesse.
I'll tell you this, Avi, you definitely do your homework.
John Amos.
Man, what an introduction. I hope I can live up to that. God bless you.
I hope you're getting paid a lot. That was the greatest intro I think I've ever had.
So I'm highly impressed. So I would give this a very high A.
Well, thank you very much. I can't think of a better way to begin the new year than with you.
Avi, always great to hear your voice, kid, and to hear your intros. You're amazing.
Last name Davidson, first name Tommy.
Nice. I think that's the best
intro I've ever had.
Did you have a nice time tonight in the green room?
I had a great time. I can't tell you how refreshing it is that somebody knows what they're doing.
Avi is a poet, but he doesn't know it, but his feet show it. You're unbelievable.
Winning it all, competitive juices, are they all there, Joe?
Man, the competitive juices don't stop.
Or are you here to win the whole darn tournament?
I don't play, I just win.
You're chomping at the bit to get in this thing.
Oh yeah, man. I've been telling you, brother. You brought up some names to me, and I was like, I can't wait. I hope they don't see me because it's gonna be on like a steaming pot of neck bones, baby. And I'm not playing.
Mike, I got to ask you the golden question: are you here to win the entire thing, my friend?
I'll just say this, Avi. Winner, chicken dinner.
But are you here to win the entire celebrity tournament when it's all said and done?
I saw a very familiar face in Mike Rotundo, better known as IRS, and he said that he was here for the winner chicken dinner, and I want to take away that chicken dinner. So yes, I want to win this whole shebang.
First name Joe Smith. Welcome, my friend.
Oh my God, Avi! Where did you get all of that from? Oh my God!
Guys and gals and pals, welcome. As you guys know, this is not a podcast. No, this is a living room style conversation where intelligent minds meet and gather. Strangers walk out as friends. We have philosophical fun, and guys and gals and pals, thank you for growing this into what you have. Industrial-sized air conditioners at your favorite B&B in Alaska would be rendered obsolete after witnessing that intro because we're all fired up. That much is a fact. You've all experienced luminary after luminary enter this virtual arena, and this tournament is quite stacked. I dubbed this vision of mine edutainment because I place emphasis on entertainment and education, because on this station, we celebrate those that are passionate about their vocation, and this format is anything but the same old. So I thank you for embracing the innovation and expressing your constant elation when taking in the most star-studded tournament of them all, a place where participants convey their level of admiration while we marvel at the information, passion, and perspiration when observing this wide array of talent that make up the population of strong-minded thinkers that enlighten us, which is why I subscribe to conversation, because listening and applying is how we get to our destination. We're all so much closer than we are apart, which is why this is what offers a demonstration of what's right about us as a society. So for the new viewers out there who have a fascination, sit back and enjoy as I put a cap on this verbal dissertation. But first, let's experience the present, which is quite the same. If Sundays are morning coffee and Fridays are martinis, Saturday nights right here on TKN, we'll make sure that you are creatively nourished and full like a big old bottle of Red Bull. We avoid the profane and never complain because positivity epitomizes gain when one is looking to remain in a plane where they refrain from the negativity because the word is quite the drain. So escape the mundane and allow us to entertain like a night out listening to one Mr. Newton, first name Wayne. Let's keep doing what we do, guys, and realize that our motto isn't some Sherlock Holmes mystery. A legendary director of Superman fame, guys and gals and pals. My mentor told me years ago, write your own history. Teaching history and screenwriting for the best was one thing. Sharing your history is an honor. That mentor lives in my heart daily. His name was Richard Donner. So let's sit back and realize what we've witnessed here in this tournament oh so grand, where 135 Hall of Famers and Hollywood Award winners nominees own this land, as we discover and rediscover our humanity through open dialogue and expand. So be prepared to give a hand to competitors that are about to work their sweat gland, all the while our attention they command. It's my honor to present these wonderful men and women who don't see themselves as merely a luminary. It's a pleasure telling their life story, biographically, while condensing it with rhymes and a melody. The bard Mr. Shakespeare once said, "It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves." So if you love something, don't hate others that do, because doing is the sweet nectar that's most rewarding. Take a moment to breathe, admire your desire to aspire, because if you don't, life will be but a blur. Of this I'm sure. Never hate the flower for starting out as a seed. Long distance running is essential. It's not a stampede, so don't run anyone over on your way to the top. Focus on yourself and never forget to cheerlead. Root for your loved ones and lift people up. This human fortune cookie hopes that we've all agreed that positivity is something we can never concede. So with that, let's bring in our first participant right about now, guys and gals and pals. And besides guys and gals and pals, you are inviting us to your living room, and you are who we appreciate because you make this show go. Guys and gals and pals, the bard Mr. Shakespeare said, "If we are true to ourselves, we cannot be false to anyone." Well, those words ring true. Our first participant is a remarkable and fascinating human being with layers of depth, going several orders of magnitude deep. And he shared that intimate understanding of the self with a public audience. And that is more than just a gift. I think Avi Klein is a miracle, guys and gals. What this man did is absolutely miraculous. Guys and gals and pals, His resume is quite deep. There's no doubt about how many people he affected. He grew up in Seattle and he enjoyed watching Huskies games with his entire fam. His curiosity was unmatched as he took saxophone in elementary school, and wham, he got to where he could rattle off a pretty good little lamb. His father, Gene, was a contractor and architect, while his mom, Louise, was an artist. That explains a lot, as our guest's work was always been truthful and honest, as pure as a John Stockton assist. As an acting teacher myself, I always say you can never rely on a lie, because disingenuous actions are about as impactful as a moon without a sky, which is why this man's storytelling inspires those that respect their canvas as much as Doc Brown respected Marty McFly, or a hippie was infatuated with tie-dye. This man was also a heck of an athlete, as he was a starting wide receiver at Roosevelt High. He graduated from UW in 1979 and began his acting career in New York City. He starred in the title role of Larry Shoes the Foreigner as he got down to the nitty-gritty. This is where his toolbox, wink wink, expanded as he was booking many a role without relying upon that proverbial knock on the door. He appeared in hit plays, including Me and My Girl, Losing It, and The Other Shore. He landed roles in features Desperately Seeking Susan and House of Games, as those that took it as beautiful works of art reacted with everything but a frown. Shortly thereafter, he decided to relocate where? To good old-fashioned Tinseltown. He starred in the Los Angeles premiere of the play Our Father, as I continue to honor this man by dropping more dimes. This particular play was a hit, as it was the critic's choice of the Los Angeles Times. One day on his way home from a rehearsal of the Scottish play, he rolled through a stop sign. There he met an agent who told him about a show who was oh so fine, as it resonated with the masses, including this writer, Avi Klein. He was able to finesse an audition, even though he was told the part was already cast. My good friend Stephen Tobolowsky booked the role, but it wouldn't last. He left to do a film role, so our next guest got it and took it to another level, like a man named Michael who knows how to swim. The role expanded after he delivered that famous line, "I don't think so, Tim." I'm talking about the iconic Home Improvement, in which he portrayed Al Borland over 8 years. He deserved his roses, as we recognize his art and showered him with limitless cheers. Prior to my friend John O'Hurley hosting Family Feud, our next guest did just that for 4 years. I know that you, our viewers, that I dubbed the Engine, are happy you're here, because if you miss seeing this great talent on screen, you'll kick yourself forever and go darn. So welcome a humble, kind, and intelligent human being. First name Richard, last name Karn. Welcome to TKN Celebrity Tournament, my good friend.
I'm exhausted. I am totally exhausted right now. Holy smoke. In fact, I think I've forgotten most of the things that you said I did.
Well, you did them, and you inspired people, so I hope you know that.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You know, this is the best way. This is like therapy. You get to verbalize stuff that you keep in your head during the days, and all of a sudden you go, oh, I didn't realize I actually thought that or meant that or whatever. But holy smokes.
We run in the same circle
of Hamilton all of a sudden.
Oh.
All we needed was music.
Well, I take, here's the thing. I want to take my time to, well, it's what, you're a writer, you're a part of this. You've inspired people on the stage. You've inspired people on set, on screen. You've done it all, my friend. Are you here to win the entire celebrity tournament?
Well, you know, you don't enter into this thinking that I don't want to win.
Right.
You know, but there are a lot of people, a lot of very articulate people, a lot of very charismatic people. And, you know, it's not going to be easy, but I am certainly throwing my hat in the ring.
Well, I want people to know this, guys and gals. This man won't say it, so I will. We're going to talk about St. Jude's pretty soon. I want you guys to be able to donate, if you can, to St. Jude's, because Richard does a lot for charities. He does a lot of celebrity golf tournaments, all for the benefit of those that don't have a voice, underprivileged. That's what this man stands for. He's got a great, beautiful heart, getting to know him a little bit, and I do appreciate who you are and what you stand for, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know,
I've been in this business for a long time, it seems like. And when I first started out, I got invited to other people's charity events, and I thought, well, I should do my own. So I did one up in Seattle for 18 years for the Fred Hutchinson and the Overlake Cancer Hospitals, because that's where my mom had her treatments when she was fighting cancer.
Sure.
And then over the years, the people that I invited to my tournament, I started going to their tournaments, and that's when I got involved with St. Jude. So
wow.
It is a big, you know, gracious circle of people giving back.
I love that. I'm bringing our next participant in, but I am happy that Bob Hobbs, the director of your program in college, told you that, hey, your voice needed work. At the end of the day, you know, we're all young. We don't want to hear that, but it made you mad, and then you started to work harder. It made you realize the stakes were higher, and here you are now.
And here I am now. And now I realize that, you know, my natural voice is what people want anyways.
Right. Yes, you've got a great voice. I want to put you backstage for a moment and bring you right back in.
Okay.
Guys, Richard Karn's a class act. He's class personified. Everybody here is. I want to bring in our next participant right now, guys and gals and pals, and we'll get started with topic number one. A champion is afraid of losing. Everyone else is afraid of winning. And I have a great deal of respect for my next guest. because he's class personified. He's down to earth. He's genuine. He's eloquent, intelligent, and he has a kind heart as well. He reminds us that it's not a race against anyone else. It's the real journey, guys and gals. Only against yourself. The real journey is against your unrealized potential. That might sound sappy, but I'd rather be sappy than cynical. You have no idea what you're capable of until you reach your limits. Our next participant is multifaceted, guys and gals. He grew up in New York, specifically Huntington. His father, Preston, was a bishop, and his mother was a pastor, Renee Washington. He first watched pro wrestling when he was 7. His thoughts upon witnessing Bob Backlund and Big John Studd, that's where dreams felt like heaven. From that moment, wrestling became his obsession, even as his family encouraged him to focus on his studies. I can relate because back in the day, it was all about the gals, the bikes, and my buddies. They wanted him to get good qualifications so he could get a good career and lift himself out of Brooklyn. He had ambitions and chased them because victory without pursuit should definitely be considered a sin. His hard work earned him a football scholarship, but he didn't want to go to college. He was brave and courageous to chase his dreams because life experience equates to knowledge. With his grandfather's support, he trained at the legendary Gleason's gym under the one and only Johnny Rods. He learned it all, including the psychology of a pro, because wrestling is more than merely muscles and strong bods. He worked his first match in 1992 and soon adopted the ring name A-Train. He also took up various jobs to help his family pay bills and never did he complain despite the pain and a work schedule that was quite insane. After 5 years of struggle, he got a phone call from Rods who told him Paul Heyman was interested in him joining up with ECW. After trying out, Perry Saturn gave him the green light before he'd don the famous tie-dye blue. The next time this gentleman is here, I will delve even deeper and mention why Pulp Fiction and Clubber Lang played such an important role in his early career. But let's welcome in this WWE Hall of Famer who is here and should be introduced to a hero's welcome like Shakespeare's King Lear. He's a member of the TNA Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame, the Cauliflower Alley Club. He's a 23-time ECW, WWE, and TNA Tag Team Champion, a 2-time New Japan Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champion, and a 2-time TNA TV Champion. But despite the name, the fame, and the acclaim, this humble human being's down-to-earth nature has stayed the same. So give it up for a man that is sitting on Mount Rushmore of accomplished talent, like a mobster named Don, as I bring in an intelligent, kind, talented human being. Last name Dudley, first name Devon. Welcome to the Celebrity Tournament, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Good God. I can't remember half the crap you just said about me. That's the most amazing part. It's like going through memory lane without remembering half the crap I did.
Well, it's memorable. You've given people a lot of great memories to hold on to, so why don't you get it back? I want to illustrate that to you because you excelled in something that you were passionate about, but the human being underneath the profession is what speaks to me and everybody else around you, and you should know that.
Well, again, I mean, everything that I've accomplished, everything that I, wanted to do in life, even when I was set on a certain path, and then all of a sudden that path turned into something else. It's been a great ride so far, and to have people sit here and enjoy the work that I've done, that's only a testament to what I've been trying to do my whole life. So, it's been great going into a sport like pro wrestling, not being a second generation wrestler,
right?
Not having the help to be able to, get to the next level, having to do things on my own, which is, was a great thing. So I've got number one, God to thank, and I have my family to thank. And of course, myself, I say last myself. Always,
but you probably wouldn't have it any other way, though. You probably wouldn't have any other way.
No other way whatsoever. I mean, both parents being reverends. I'm a preacher's kid.
Yeah.
And, especially coming out of Brooklyn, New York, it was rough. But, I guess you could say like the old television show, The Jeffersons, I moved on up.
There you go. I appreciate that. I appreciate what you do for others. Mark Henry, a dear friend of mine, said, man, when you got Devon on the show, you can't not be inspired. And I already am. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Devon, I'm going to put you backstage for a mere moment and bring you right back.
Sure.
Appreciate these gentlemen, guys. Richard Karn, Devon Dudley, gentlemen that inspire others. And, of course, my dear friend, guys, who am I bringing in? You'll know right now. I just mentioned his name, so there you go. I'm excited. Haven't seen him in years on the show, but he was there from the ground floor. And I want to give him his introduction that he deserves. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. And the true secret of happiness lies in taking a genuine interest in all the details of daily life. These sentiments all apply to tonight's participant, because to know him is to know his heart. In a world filled with questions, it's quite comforting to know that there are simple answers when it comes to certain people. For instance, this man's honesty, his integrity, his word, his passion and compassion, his direct approach to life. There are no questions when it comes to all the above, because he's quite the quality human being. My next guest is a wonderful friend as I cherish our 5-year friendship. He's so wonderful, honest, sincere, multifaceted, and real. His resume is vast, and his artwork and upcoming book will truly make you feel. He graduated as an industrial designer from Syracuse University and moved to Greenwich Village with his college buddy Carl Gottlieb, who would later write the movie Jaws. His limitless talent and range take only a backseat to his humility. He truly deserves a round of applause. He started doing stand-up in coffee houses and was soon opening for Woody Allen and Miles Davis. He then joined Second City in Chicago, but I'd be remiss if I forgot to mention that he started The Committee, a rival improv group that ushered in joy and endless bliss. Penny Marshall recalled seeing his improv work, and from there, he was cast in Laverne and Shirley. This got him an agent, and he became a working actor, and much like Mr. Furley, portrayed by the legendary Don Knotts, this man was down-to-earth, knew his roots, and didn't behave like someone entitled, guys and gals, like some other luminary. His legendary role opposite Clint Eastwood in Escape from Alcatraz was honest, truthful, and an instant classic. He worked with my mentor, Richard Donner, and Spielberg, the man who directed a park named Jurassic. Our next guest wrote, directed, and starred in a short that was nominated for an Oscar. Its name was Sally's Diner. Yet all the while, he challenges the status quo and is a free thinker. I can't think of anything finer. From Breaking Bad to Mr. Heckles on Friends to Uncle Buck and Home Alone, 150 film and TV roles on his resume only begin to tell his story and set the tone. His one-man show, Street Stories, his books, screenplays, and collaborating with yours truly. He's an independent mind and tells it like it is without being unruly. So give it up for a man that is film and TV royalty, a man that truly embraces the word free. Welcome, my dear friend, and an awesome human being. Last name Hankin, first name Larry. Welcome, my good friend. I transitioned that to a wave.
Thank you very much for all of that trip down memory lane. Wow, I did it, and I did much more. I'm much better than that.
Which is true.
Who knows what to say? I mean, well, I don't know where you got all that information. That's amazing. The amount of information you looked up. You did the whole. I don't have to write another word ever again. It's amazing.
Well, you deserve it. I mean, because at the end of the day, this is your legacy, and I think it should be told. And you know, you and I always talk about how sometimes literary agents. You know, we talked about Marion Doherty yesterday. How I'm writing a script about her because I wanted to give something back to someone like her who started casting departments when nobody even knew how hard it was for the actor, the working actor. And sometimes literary agents and writers don't get that direction that they need. They wander around not knowing why they started in this crazy craft of storytelling. And here you are. Creating art, literally creating art, because you're an amazing artist, and you're writing. You get inspired so much just by being with yourself in your own space. That inspires me.
You know, I try to do it as best I can.
Sure.
And if I make you either laugh or cry or feel or have catharsis,
yes, sir.
You know, cool. That's what I do. Other people sell meat or sell cars or be an accountant. I'm an actor. I mean, all the rest is from the outside in. I have nothing to. I mean, that introduction that you gave me, I had nothing to do with that.
Oh,
no, I just went to work.
No.
Every day, and then you introduced me like you did. You put it together. I didn't. It's nice. It's very nice, and I'm honored that you said that.
Well, you deserve that.
I had nothing to do with it.
You had nothing to do with it. You got a call
every day.
No, you got a call once from Anna Mathias, who said her husband was wanting to move up, I believe, to be a
How do you know that? How do you know that?
You did so much, and then she asked you if you could write something for her husband, a movie.
Exactly.
You directed it. You could be in it. She says Harry would be the cinematographer. That was the beginning of it. You always wanted to do movies, to make them a film short. It was something you wanted to do. You took the money and you thought about Sally's Diner, and my oh my, how it inspired people.
Us.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years, a year, at least a year, minimum of a year to make a 10-minute film.
Sure.
Because more than a year. Because I had to save up money. I had to go get a job, put that money away, get a job, put that money away several times. And then I go, okay, we can take it this far. And all I was trying to do was finish the damn thing.
You thought initially you could shoot the movie maybe for a day or two. So, you know, you.
Right. You know, you shoot a movie a day and somebody edits it, you know, next week you got a movie. And then you go on with your life.
Well,
no, and then by the time it was got an Academy Award, it was like a year and a half. I don't think beyond 4 days ahead. So
I see.
For something to take a year and a half is beyond my comprehension. You just go in day after day after day. And
Sure.
if you try to think, I got another 6 months of this, you'd quit. So you just make it day after day after day.
It's a great way to look at it, my friend. Absolutely. I'm going to bring in Mr. Richard Karn. Absolutely, my friend. And Mr. Devon Dudley. We'll start with topic number one. Devon, I forgot to ask you the question as well. 135 Hall of Famers, luminaries from all walks of life. Winner wins the grand prize. The real prize, of course, is being the one person, of course, who can win this entire thing as we continue to grow. Would you like to win the entire tournament, my friend?
Absolutely. I didn't come here to lose.
No, that is important.
You can't forget that.
That's an accomplishment. Yeah.
Listen, I look at it like this. Going up against guys like Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, list goes on and on.
Yeah.
How many people did I put to bed, put to rest, put to sleep? I think it's only fitting that I come here and do the same thing.
There we go. Sir Devon Dudley, guys and gals, a true winner. Man, oh man, these three men are awesome. They're inspirational, and I'm going to set up topic number one. Larry Hankin will tackle it first. Devon will tackle a second. Richard Karn will tackle a third. We'll rotate it out for the next topic. Topic number one, I'll zip the old lip after I introduce it to all of our viewers. There's a highly destructive game that's being played globally at the moment, the game of right and wrong. And nearly every day I'm seeing humans shaming fellow humans for being on the wrong side of the fence or demanding people to do the right thing. What if there is no one right thing? There's just what appears to be true for you from your own unique perspective. As one of my favorite ancient philosophers said, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. But what universal wrong could be righted? What if you had the ability to convince someone of a bygone era, someone of influence in history, to think twice before using their paintbrush? What if, Mr. Hankin, if you could convince a historical figure to right one of their wrongs, which historical figure would you choose and why? And which wrong would you ask them to right and why? The floor is yours whenever you're ready to go. Good, sir.
Well, that's a very hard question. So I come up with two people, and they're kind of equal and opposite. So I'll go, the first person I would talk to is Jesus. He seems to be very important. And I would just tell him to just keep it down. People don't want to hear what you have to. It's a lot of trouble you're getting into. You're going to cause a lot of trouble if you keep, just. And then the other one is Genghis Khan, who, what are you doing, man? You're, if you could just, the two of you get together and sort of, work it out, but both of you are over the top, I mean, who wants to hear love? That I look around now and I don't see much of it. And I don't think the planet understands what this guy was saying. And then he was talking about love and love and love. And what did they do? They killed him. I mean, come on, man. What world does that? Not, I don't know any other species. I mean, beyond the species that is on this earth, we don't know of any other species except us. We're like supposedly the top dog. And I don't know what the hell we're doing with this planet. So Jesus either wasn't saying enough or too much. And Genghis Khan was just over the top, man. What was he? I think he actually died of a hemorrhage of the brain. He got so angry. This is the truth. I looked him up, actually. He had a brain hemorrhage from getting so angry that he burst a blood vessel. And he died of, I guess, a heart attack or an aneurysm or whatever. So those are the two guys. I would just say, rethink how you're presenting your point of view. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you for those choices. Genghis Khan, little known facts, guys and gals. I didn't teach global history. I taught U.S. But Genghis, he actually exempted the poor from taxes. He encouraged literacy. He established a free religion. But then again, there's also that bad, right? What's bad? What's good? How can you determine what a person is based on their actions when they're usually a little bit more multifaceted than just one single thing that we remember them for? So thank you for delving deep into that one, Larry. I appreciate you, my friend. I'm going to ask the same question to Devon Dudley. And guys and gals and pals, for all of you watching as well, thank you for making this thing what it is right now. The question for you, Devon, is the same. If you could convince a historical figure to right one of their wrongs, Which historical figure would you choose and why? And which one would you ask them to write and why? The floor is yours whenever you're ready to go, good sir.
All right. Well, I got two as well. So one of them is going to be, I guess you could say, Mike Tyson. And I say that about Mike is because, this last fight with Jake Paul, I didn't believe it to be true at all. And I'm just wondering, I'm going to ask Mike, why would you get into a fight with a guy like Jake Paul and then throw the fight? I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, that fight was not legit at all. There's no way that Tyson can train the way he trained, look the way he looked in his training, and then lose like that. It just didn't make any sense to me. My thing is, I get it. A lot of money had to be played here. I get it. But at the same time, could you take half the money up front first and then beat the hell out of him? That way you could have had the money, at least take half of the money, and then still be Mike Tyson of old, and then whoop this guy, his ass. To me, it just kind of hurt when I watched that fight. And I wish, I know Mike Tyson is a huge wrestling fan. He follows the sports of entertainment. But man, if I have a chance to meet him, hopefully he don't want to knock me out, but I got to ask him, why the hell would you get into a fight and rumble your hands with something like that? Again, money's money, and I get it, and I understand it. But at the same token, man, I'm just a true Mike Tyson fan. I hated to see that fight, and I wish I would have told him, hey, Mike, can you just please at least give the fans of yours what you did back in the day? Just do a little bit. Don't knock him out. Play with him. It's like a dog playing with a little animal, and he kind of plays with him, smacks him around a couple of times, and before he, annihilates him, he basically takes him out. And when the time is right, I think Mike could have did it that way. I also would like my second one would have to be the whole controversy between LeBron and Michael Jordan. Again, to me, I'm going to go on sports here because I believe Michael Jordan is probably the greatest, not probably, the greatest basketball player of all time. And in my opinion, unless you were in that era that we all enjoyed Michael Jordan when he played, only will you know then how much of a phenomenon he really was and how dangerous he was for the opposite team. He's the only man that I know that can put fear in his opponents on the opposite side of the court and back up what he said he was going to do. Now, LeBron, I'm a big fan of LeBron James, but I don't think he had that same fear that Mike put into people like he did, like today. Today, LeBron is a very good player, but not on the same caliber as a Michael Jordan. So this has to go to the fans. It's like, why do some of the fans honestly think that LeBron was better than Michael Jordan? I think LeBron needs to come out and say who the greatest basketball player is of all time. And in my opinion, that would be Michael Jordan.
Well, it's so funny you bring this up too, Devon, about Michael Jordan and LeBron James, because comparing eras, like greatness transcends any era, right? Would you agree with that?
I agree, but you also got to put in perspective, too, how basketball was back then. Basketball back then, you could give a clothesline to somebody.
No fouls.
A whistle wasn't blown. You were able to get hit. The Detroit Pistons were the bad boys of basketball. You got on the basketball court, right? You got on the basketball court with them, they would kill you. They would literally beat the hell out of you. It was like being in a wrestling match at a wrestling venue when you were with them, So nowadays, basketball, you can't be physical like that.
Right.
So, yes, I understand. Again, I'm not knocking him.
Of course.
He's a great player. But again, to go through what Jordan had to go through to be the best of that era, that's I don't know. My hands, go all the way up for Michael.
Devon, do you think it's cause and effect? And Larry, Richard, feel free to pop in if you want to. I guess based on what I'm about to bring up, if you think that has something to do with it. Michael Jordan was cut from Laney High School. He was cut for 1 year. That motivated him enough to have a chip on his shoulder. Would you like being, and he's still alive, would you like being that high school coach that cut Michael Jordan? It happened. He cut him from the high school basketball team before he came back with a vengeance, and he never took off. Preseasons, practices. There are a couple of stats nobody brings up. In the six-peat that they had from 91 to 98, they only played 2 Game 7s, and they won both of them. No NBA Finals team even took the Bulls to 7 games. It happened twice in 6 years. Let's do the math. To win the championship, you have to beat 4 teams in 1 playoffs. 4 times 6 is 24. In 24 series, only 2 teams took them to Game 7 and lost. 2 out of 24. Indiana in 98, the Knicks in 92, and they still didn't beat them. That's a stat. That's a statistic that will never be replicated. It will never be replicated. Would you agree, Hello?
I do agree. But
Richard.
You also have to figure the rest of the team. It wasn't just him. It was a team effort. He was the star. And, who knows what his high school coach was thinking. Maybe he had good reason. Maybe there was something that he hadn't learned yet.
He was 5'11". He was 5'11". He grew. Yeah.
To get to the next step.
Growth spurt. He was 5'11", so again, a lot of times people forget it. Back then, especially a big man's league. And you're right, he didn't do it alone. But when people are comparing LeBron and Jordan for their personal attributes and skills and want to say that one player is better than the other, I think you have to understand what the criteria is. And I guess everyone's got different criteria. Who's won more championships? Who made his teammates around him better? Well, I know that Jordan took a team that wasn't very talented, admittedly, and didn't want more talent. He didn't shop for free agents. He said, I'm going to make them the best I can make them in practice. Whether it was John Paxson, Stacey King, Scott Williams from North Carolina, it didn't matter. He made these guys believe in themselves. That is something that we can't take away from the guy. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it. Absolutely.
I mean, what you said about him getting cut on the basketball team for high school, I mean, yes, that's good. But you know what? Not everybody's going to come off being great right away. You have to build to that. You have to be able to learn from people who have been there before you and who have been successful. And it's just like wrestling. I don't think that my partner and I would have been considered the greatest tag team in the history of this business unless we learn from other people that have come before us. That's the only way. And even now, when people say the Dudley boys are the greatest tag team in the history of this business, I tell them no. I said we're the greatest tag team of our era because we never had the opportunity to wrestle anybody that came before us that was great, that we learned from. So I can't say that we're the greatest. I can say we're the greatest of our era. But in Michael Jordan's case, the greatest of all time.
Wow, well said. And guys, speaking of the greatest of all time, how about this? This channel right here that I'm about to show you on screen might be the greatest of all time very soon. In a few short months, look at this, the Devon Dudley YouTube channel, 79.5 subscribers, 79,500 subscribers, which is absolutely incredible. If you guys wanted to compare this channel to anything out there in its short period of time, this thing has been skyrocketing, and it's still skyrocketing because of you guys and gals. And in case you weren't privy to it, because you didn't know about it, you will now. You will know after the show. You'll know for every broadcast we have. I'm going to keep mentioning this because it's great content. It's not just the numbers or the metrics. It's what Devon has. If you scroll down over here, beautiful artwork, a lot of great content, a man that has been with the elite, a man that speaks very honestly and directly. The content here is digestible. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, you got to check out this channel, the Devon Dudley YouTube channel. It's incredible.
Thank you. I mean, I've only been up and running for about 3.5 weeks, and we're already at 80,000 subscribers. I mean, it's a great ride. I'm just happy and that people want to hear what I have to say. The guests that we have on there have been incredible, and I mean, I would have never seen this to skyrocket the way it has. So thank you to all the fans. And if you're happy with the content that I've brought so far, you're going to be happy with the content that I'm going to bring in the future.
Well, no BS. I'm a straight shooter. I think we could tell why it's doing so well. It's because of the man behind it, Devon Dudley, and guys and gals and pals right now. The man behind this particular topic right now is Mr. Richard Karn, who has done so much great work that also has inspired an Avi Klein, who came from the stage as well. Richard, of course, guys and gals, will have the same question that I did ask Mr. Larry Hankin and Mr. Devon Dudley. If you could convince a historical figure and right one of their wrongs, which historical figure would you choose and why? And which wrong would you ask them to right and why? Floor is yours whenever you're ready to go, good sir.
That is an overwhelming question. I mean, there are a lot of things, and what's right for somebody is wrong for another person. I thought about this, long and hard. I didn't necessarily want to go political, but this was something that jumped out at me that I felt was kind of a catalyst for what we've been doing for the last 10 years in a way. Back in 2016, when Obama was president, he had a chance to put in another judge on the Supreme Court, and Mitch McConnell blocked him. In fact, he reveled in the fact that he could do that he could say, listen, you know what, you still have 11 months left in your presidency, but tradition states there are other things that have happened this way, and we are going to block anything that you bring up. And you know what? He was lying. There was no tradition. That was just something that he said that I think kind of started the whole, maybe we need to fact check people, because they're just saying things that are ridiculous and stupid. But I mean, to not bring in, basically he was a DC Circuit Court judge, Merrick Garland, could have been the next Supreme Court. Instead, we got Neil Gorsuch, and he had 11 months to process this whole thing. He said, no, you can't do that. It's the end of his. We need the next president to do it. The public should have that right to decide who is going to have the next choice. And then literally 4 years later, Donald Trump has less than 2 months left in his presidency, and they rush through that. It's just mind-boggling, the hypocrisy, and that just stands out. And it's it's something that I think you've lost the trust of American people, and they don't know where to find their information, their news. There are news stations that are diametrically opposed to each other, that have very different facts being thrown out there. And I feel like 2016 was kind of a turning point for America, and that's why I would have asked him to just listen. Let's play fair. The public brought you in as a senator, and they want you to do your job. They don't want you to block someone else doing their job. They want you to work with those people to do their jobs. And that was something that just did not happen. And that's the right I would try to correct.
Richard, the evolution and success of Donald Trump, did it have everything to do with money as far as you're concerned?
I don't think it had everything to do with money. I mean, my God, he lost so much money. He bankrupted 13 companies. I don't know what it is. There's something charismatic to half the country that likes the way he kind of fumbles through everything, and he loves, shocking people with stupid things to say, and then go, well, why not? I can say that.
Did you think there's a dividing line? And I'm not saying I know. I like not knowing. Not knowing is much more fun than knowing. But
knowing
do you
what?
Think anything? Do you think that there's a dividing line when it comes to the following question I have for you? Do you think there's a dividing line? When do we get to this point where we starting celebrating our politicians like we do our sports teams? To some extent, we always have. But to the extent of what you brought up, where we want a sideshow, we're voting for someone because it's entertaining to see them enter. But that's not his position.
We don't want that. Do we really want that sideshow?
Yeah, we are, right? Aren't we? Aren't we embracing it now?
Well, I guess half the country is.
I mean, it's insane when you think about it. Has everything ever changed? So would you rather have the politician, and it's a question for everyone, would you rather have the politician who's going to stumble and mumble and fumble and bumble all over the place because they obviously are maybe meant to distract us? Maybe they're meant to distract us. I won't get into Rothschild.
I think what we need to do is have better people to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
We never had.
How does that happen? But how does that happen? But sometimes when we have people to vote for, and I don't have a dog in this fight, but sometimes when you have people to vote for, that doesn't help either, because you get to groom the politician to do anything that they want. Like, think about Prescott Bush. He highly touted Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was 19 years old, and Prescott Bush said, I'm going to make this guy a politician. I want to put him up and pair him off with someone who hated him, which was Eisenhower, because Eisenhower didn't even want to become president. Eisenhower didn't want that position. So for 8 years, he's got Tricky Dick Nixon, who's running in 1960 on the communist ticket against Kennedy in an election in which people that listened to it on radio thought that he won those debates. People watching on TV thought that Kennedy won those debates. Maybe that's the dividing line, because popularity at that point, television was still a new medium. It wasn't the first televised debate, Adlai Stevenson in 56, but people watching Kennedy and Nixon on television said, I like this guy. He's got charm. He's got charisma. It's not about the policy. And I'm not saying, again, that Kennedy didn't have great policies, because of course he did. But maybe that was the first time where we stopped thinking about the policy and it became more about the popularity of the person. Is there something there?
There is something there. And I think we have become a very visual humanity. Stories that were told on radio were incredible. Your mind was able to do so much more than what was visual. But once we went into TV, which is TV is kind of like the next version of radio because it's way more wordy. Film is way more less wordy, more telling a picture with pictures.
Sure.
But once that happened, and then on top of that, we bring in the internet where anybody can throw up whatever they want to say, and who cares if it's true or not. Once you start a rumor, the rumor is there, and it goes through it goes through our country like a wildfire.
It becomes the truth, even though it's not.
It becomes, there's a truthiness to it.
Yes.
As I think someone on Seinfeld said, there's a truthiness to that.
There you go.
And I don't think that that's what we should be striving for.
I think letting the cat out of the bag was something that our government tried to do for so many years. You think about Kennedy in November of '63. A lot of times people forget that, Eisenhower was the one who told him, hey, look, don't talk about the military-industrial complex. If you do, you're going to have it. And that's what happened. But he couldn't help it because the Cuban Missile Crisis happens. He was thinking that the Cuban refugees were going to be trained by us, but they weren't. They were cab drivers. They were lawyers. He thought under his watch they were going to be trained by our military, and they weren't. They got slaughtered by Castro. From that point on, he couldn't keep his zip lipped, and he talked against the military-industrial complex. He might be the last president that spoke up against our own military, our own intelligence, and as a result, he gets a bullet. He dies. LBJ got the memo. He said, you want me to double down and send more troops to Vietnam? I'll go ahead and do it. And that's what's happened since then. We've gotten these political figures who we forget have people above them. They're not in charge of our country. And I don't care if it's a Donald Trump or a Bill Clinton. All of a sudden, these big corporations now that are essentially pulling presidents like puppets are telling them what to do. And of course, they're always the fall guys. Because regardless of whether we believe in their political beliefs or not, they're the ones who are going to always be responsible for pushing this country forward or backward. But they're not even that. They're not even in charge as much as we think that they are. That scares the hell out of me.
Well, now we have the Brolyarchs.
Yes.
And there is a lot of freaking money there. A lot of influence. And if they can decide that, no, we don't have to police ourselves. We're going to let people police themselves. And we all know that people can't do that. We all have a moral, high ground within us. But once you get into a group, all of a sudden that changes.
Sure. Would you? I'm going to go into topic number 2. Would you guys believe? Would you agree that every war we've had was started due to a false flag operation?
False flag operations.
False flag operation. We were lied about the Gulf of Tonkin. We were lied about 9/11. We were lied about every major war we've actually been a part of. We were lied about Vietnam. We were lied to about it.
France was already in Vietnam.
They were in Vietnam, and we were told exactly why we were going to Vietnam, which had nothing to do with the reason of McNamara talking about the Red Scare and the trickle-down effect in Southeast Asia.
It kind of comes down to a bottom line, where money can be made, and oil and things like that. You're right. We are having a tough time with our world. And it's swinging very conservative right now. I think people want to be led. I think people want to have someone tell them what to do. They're tired of trying to come up with something on their own because they don't know the truths. How can you have an argument if you don't actually know what you're arguing about?
Too much information. Too much information.
Yeah.
Too much information.
You can't, suss it all out. It's just bread and roses, or circus and, what is that? Bread and circuses, or whatever that is.
There's too much. There's too much. It's too much to absorb.
Yeah. So there's nobody really.
I don't a Michael Jordan of rhetoric.
A Michael Jordan of rhetoric.
Somebody who is able to come in there and go, listen. Yada, 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 boom, 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 this, and it makes sense. And it makes sense because it's fair to these people, it's fair to these people, it's the right thing to do.
It would be nice.
That's what we need. We need a rhetoric czar.
And that's
a rhetoric
czar.
The weird thing, the irony is, one of the earliest stories ever is the biting of the apple in the Bible. It's a story, but it's a story about Homo sapiens biting off knowledge. And I think we're choking on the apple.
Very well said.
I think there's just too many apples. We're making applesauce. It's rotting.
Well,
the
PC came before Apple.
Excuse me?
The PC came before Apple.
The PC?
Oh gosh, well, you're you're talking about biblical times. Hey, if there were ever,
No,
if
I'm
there were
talking
two,
about way before then.
even before then,
we gotta go way back.
We got to
Well,
go
there
back.
was
Let's
misinformation
go
in
back.
The Bible. I mean, there was a Bible called the Wicked Bible that forgot to put "Thou shalt not commit adultery," and it goes, "Thou shalt commit adultery," and people were like, "Oh, okay,
so,
let me do that." I mean, they closed that down pretty quickly, but
but you know what else they forgot? If there were two of every creature in Noah's Ark, where were the woodpeckers at?
They were in there flying around somewhere.
There were no woodpeckers.
They were eating the ship is basically what they were doing.
Hey, Larry, has anyone ever killed two birds with one stone? Have you ever seen that happen? I've never seen it.
I've never seen anybody try, so I
Richard's
don't know.
thinking about it, but I've never seen it. I've never actually seen that
Well,
happen.
but nobody's ever tried to do that.
well, there is the magic bullet.
So there's a
That's kind of
possibility
stone.
it could be done. It's never been unproven. It's never been proven or unproven. Nobody's tried it.
Larry, if love is blind, how can we believe in love at first sight?
Well, once you stop being blind, you probably fall in love. Blind people can't fall in love. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's called pheromones.
They should be able to. We shouldn't have bias against them falling in love.
Smell.
Absolutely.
Smell.
There you go.
There you go.
I love that. And by the way, I do want to bring this up as well, guys and gals. Thanks for watching in your living room, having your dinner. Maybe you're eating some microwave dinner. And by the way, let's sit for 2 minutes is the most ignored instruction among microwave users.
It's too long. It's too long.
It's too long. I can't stand there and wait the full 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the food is there and you're just staring at it. What's going on? Why aren't you eating that?
And I feel like an idiot when I do that. I just feel like a moron. And you know what? We're so busy, but all of a sudden we stop being busy when we stand there waiting for the food to come out. We just walk around and pace around the kitchen. Do you guys wait the
Now we
full
just
2
look
minutes?
at our phone. All of a sudden, the phone is in our hand, and 5 minutes has gone by.
Richard, do you wait the full 2 minutes?
I have no idea.
Wait a minute. I did it for the first time. I had to cook some chicken, and it said cook it this way, and then put it down and wait 1 minute for it to cool down.
You couldn't do it, right?
No, I did it.
Oh, okay.
I forced myself. I had to tie myself to the front door knob.
I love that.
I couldn't get to the stove for a minute.
I got to ask Devon, this is the stuff that intrigues me as a writer. Have you ever, how do you feel about this? Do you ever wait the full 2 minutes?
It's hard, especially when you're hungry and you're trying. It's very, very hard.
Well, wait, do you have to wait 2 minutes for popcorn?
When you have to wait 2 minutes for popcorn, because if you ever put the popcorn in the microwave, almost 65% of it doesn't pop. So I open it up. I'm like, what the hell? I'm eating seeds.
Yeah,
I'm not even eating popcorn. I'm like, what the hell?
No, that's where
you
have to listen.
The world coming to.
Yeah, I just did that the other day.
Hear the slowing down of the popping is when usually it's about 2:45, 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
That makes
and then
sense.
I try to put an extra minute on it, and still no popping.
Embark upon our second and final topic right now. As you can see, our panel they're in deep thought right now. We're thinking popcorn. We're thinking Kennedy. We're thinking Michael Jordan. All of this, a creative buffet, if you will. Right now, we're going to start things off. Kick it over to Mr. Hankin. Hankin, my friend, guys, give it up to Larry because Larry's been here since the genesis of this show, 2021. Been here since day number one. Cool stuff. Having him here in the celebrity tournament is awesome. Mr. Larry Hankin, our thought-provoking question, our final one: if humanity were put on a trial by an advanced race of aliens, how would you defend humanity and argue for its continued existence? Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. Good sir.
Plea bargain. I would. I don't. The crime that humanity has caused is I'd put him in jail. I don't think I would let Homo sapiens off scot-free. There's just too much to blame. They've done too much damage, Homo sapiens. So a plea bargain is, I guess, the only way to go, or throw yourself on the mercy of the jury. But I don't know how to defend them. So I don't know how to defend Homo sapiens. That's hard. That's the hard one. Is defending.
Any hope, Larry? Is there any hope?
Well, a lot of the scientists, because I follow that, I kind of follow, what's going on. And most scientists, we're on the edge, right? For about 10 years now, we've been on the cusp of, we can't go back. We can't turn it off. We can't change the planet anymore. It's going. So I think we've passed the point of no return. I think last week, January 3rd, was the time when we passed the point. So I don't have much hope. I got my fingers crossed. I pray for luck. But the way we're going, I don't know if we can handle knowledge and consciousness. I mean, that's where my brain goes. I can't deal with the bread and circuses. I watch television and it's just all coming at me. I watch the news and I just can't keep track of it all. I mean, when Richard was talking about politics and stuff, this is all familiar stuff. I followed what he was saying, but he put it in an order that wasn't possible for me to do. I thank Richard for at least putting it in some sort of context, because it's just coming at me. So I just sit and I write fiction. I make up reality. It's a lot easier than dealing with it. So that's what I would say about the Law and Order and Homo sapiens.
Well, you don't give yourself a lot of credit, my friend. You don't. We talk a lot, and again, I want people to understand something. I want to set the stage for everybody so they can understand and put this thing, if they can, in proper perspective. Let's go back to fall of '57. Larry Hankin is an industrial design major. Carl Gottlieb, screenwriter Carl Gottlieb, is a student at Syracuse University as well. After graduation, Larry Hankin and Gottlieb gravitated to Greenwich Village, just in time for the big folk music scare. Hankin paid his dues, guys and gals. This man washed dishes. He owned his performance chops nightly in coffee houses. He recited offbeat monologues for would-be folk singers. And then Fred Willard recalled Larry, the great Fred Willard. He remembers that Larry and he started out together in the village. They'd sit in the dressing room for hours waiting to go on while one folk singer after the other would sing. And because you're a bright guy, a very unique guy, an offbeat human being, you caught the attention of agents Charles Jaffe and Jack Rollins. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, that's kind of how. So for you, the art was pure, right, Larry?
I don't know what that means.
It means that you'd have done it even if you weren't getting paid a lot of money. Correct?
I would have done it if I wasn't paid a lot of money or any money, because that's what I did. But I did it because I thought I was funnier than the guy on stage. And I said, sure, I can be that funny. So I got up on the stage, and I wasn't. I was just as funny, which is not funny at all. So it took me a long time to get that learning curve of where the laugh is. Making friends laugh is not like getting on stage and opening for the Kingston Trio or something.
You were labeled like a Letty Bruce type back then, weren't you, Larry?
Yeah, but he made me laugh. I wasn't. Yeah. I didn't know. I didn't.
Wasn't by choice. Yeah, right.
Well, I got to explain something. Okay, full disclosure. I'm dyslexic. So that has a lot to do with my decision making.
Sure.
So I don't base a lot of things on what other people base it on, because a lot of my decisions are based on skewed information. It takes me a while to put proper things in order. Like I knew everything that Richard was talking about and Devon. I understand, but I never put it in order in the correct. About Michael Jordan or about politics. And I never bothered with it. Something that I want to put in order takes me time. I have to sit here, and when I write, I have to write something about 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 times before it gets in the right order, so that I can give it to you and you understand, first, second act, first, second, third act. I'll write like third act, 1.5 act, fourth act that I'll later throw away.
Yes.
But that's how I look at life. Facts come at me, and I'll put it together later. you know.
I like how
So,
you put
you know,
it.
tomorrow morning when I wake up, I will give you the correct answer to your first question.
I love it. Guys,
it takes me that long.
No, but you did though. No, you did. You answered that topic. I like how you explored it. Look, it's all about perspective. There's no, and I know this sounds cheesy, but you know, no one's worse here. The person who wins moves on, great, but there's no one who loses here because we're benefiting from knowledge. Give me knowledge, and I'm a happy camper, and that's what we're getting here. A lot of knowledge.
Right. It takes me a while to put the knowledge to use. And that means, 2 and 2 is 4. Okay, is it 4 plus 2 equals 2, or 2 plus 4 equal 2, or what order is it? 2 plus 2 equals 4. Oh, that'll take me a while. I mean, that's kind of easy, but I mean, the more complex stuff, it takes me a while.
I like that you're a man that never abandoned his humanity in this crazy field that we're in, and you're an awesome guy, and I appreciate your art.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Wholeheartedly. Mr. Devon Dudley, I'll ask you the same question, my friend. This is for Mr. Devon Dudley. If humanity were put on trial by an advanced race of aliens, how would you defend humanity and argue for its continued existence? Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours, good sir.
Oh man, I wish Richard would have went before me. I could have ran off of him.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't know how I would honestly try to defend it. I mean, God, so much stuff, over the years, and so many things that we've seen, even stuff that we touched about, the wars, a lot of the wars we had no business being in. How do you defend that? How do you defend us being in a war that we had no business being in the first place? Whether it was the Vietnam War, whether it was, World War I or World War II, whatever. There's so many people out there that would, argue the fact that we should have never been in a lot of these wars in the first place. How do you reprimand the person that got us into this? And it's hard to say. How do you defend them?
Can I just make a comment on that?
Sure.
Sure.
The trying to put the blame on, how do you defend that? Who do you blame? Who caused it? How did it? I blame Homo sapiens. I can't blame one person because it's been going on since there were Homo sapiens. And I just read today where somebody said, what other species on this planet destroys their own environment? Only one, Homo sapiens. So if you want to blame a war on us, or you want to blame something that happened 100, 200 years ago, or it's us that's doing this to this planet, and it's just it's the species, and so that's the way I look at it. And that Darwin thing where it starts from a fish and it goes to tadpoles and then monkeys and then that it's in all the classrooms. It's that evolution.
The evolution chart. Yeah.
The evolution chart. Okay. Well, it ends even as a joke with a guy carrying a suitcase. It goes from apes to kind of a Homo sapien, and then there's a man with a suitcase. But the point is that it arcs up and then it stops where we are. It has a human being. I think that's not just a chart. I think that's a a premonition of where it stops. That's the chart of Homo sapiens. Like it's the chart of mastodons.
Like it ends with us. It ends with us.
Yes. In other words, the chart is true. All sounds.
Richard, I can't hear you, my friend.
We couldn't hear that. Could you say that again, Richard? We didn't hear it.
Richard, if you can refresh,
Richard,
my friend.
Your sound is off.
If you refresh, you'll be fine. That should be okay. Reload it, just the page itself. It's probably that little circle up top there near the arrow on top of the page itself. The refresh or reload. It might say reload instead of refresh on your end. Or you could sign out and sign back in if you want to do that. That could work. No, you're muted, my friend. We'll get it right. It's okay. Nope, not yet. If you can't seem to reload it, you might want to sign out and sign back in. That should do it.
But I interrupted Devon, so while he's doing
war we know brings money. There's no question about that. Every time there's a war, that's money. And, like you said, we can't just blame one person for this. We really can't. You can't just blame one person on the 9/11, even if you have the conspiracy theory or not. You can't blame it on you can't blame the Vietnam War on one person. It's a collective group of people that work in the politics business that actually did all of this and made.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
So in my opinion, it's not just one race. It's not just one group of people that is doing this, or one particular person. I say it's a group effort. Everybody that's up there, that is pulling the shots. They're the ones that's causing this. Because again, war makes money.
You bet, man. Somebody has to pay for it. Somebody has to, and somebody has to make profit.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to pay for it, but it has to be profitable.
Exactly.
War is profitable.
It's very profitable. Absolutely. I mean, just think about it. Every time, when it seems like the country is in a recession or what have you, something happens and then all of a sudden a war happens. And now all of a sudden that's generating more money for the country. It's like how many more lives have to be spilled and killed in order for us to wake up and realize what's happening is wrong. We got to get the right group of people in office and get the right group of people that we need to vote for that's going to see the same things that we see, feel the same things we feel, and not just say it just to get elected in office.
But I feel like right now that the Republicans feel they have their spokesperson. The Democrats felt like they had their spokesperson.
Right.
And I don't know where the disconnect happened.
Homo sapiens. They're both Homo sapiens.
Oh, wait. Question. So again, if you look at historically speaking, L. Richard Prouty said it best. The profit of war. He always talk about profiteering. Hear me out on this for a second. There was no leadership from the 60s all the way to the 80s, right? You get a guy like Ronald Reagan, who was trying to become president since 1968. He couldn't until 1980. We know that. You have Kennedy, who gets assassinated in 63. LBJ, of course, is very unpopular, even to the point where Uncle Walter Cronkite, gets called by LBJ. He called CBS and he told Walter Cronkite, "You're tearing me apart over there. You're always biased." After LBJ, he didn't want to run in 1968, of course, so there was no leadership there. Enter Richard Nixon, who makes like the great comeback. Nobody thought this guy would ever come back. After 1960, he wasn't running on a communist ticket anymore. That was passé. That was a thing of 1960. In 68, he's running on a different ticket. Foreign policy wilds, he brokers a lot of deals. We know about the China deal. But then Watergate happens. We can't trust him. Then, of course, a placeholder who lets him get away with it. Gerald Ford, who essentially pardons Richard Nixon and was also part of that farce of a Warren Commission, because he was part of it. 1976, Jimmy Carter comes in. A peanut farmer from Georgia. Someone we could relate to. How long did that last? One term? My point is this. I'm not talking about conjecture because I don't have proof. But I believe that if the powers to be lied to us about the Kennedy assassination, amongst many other controversies, who's to say that we have a vote anyway? Who's to say these people aren't anointed? These people of power. So I don't want to sound bleak about this because it's good to have hope. But who in our history has shown us, long-term wise, that they could buck the system above them and lead the people long term. Even if they do. Perfect world scenario, Richard. A Democrat, someone that they groom who's younger.
Trump did that. Only he did it negatively, evilly.
That's where the human mind goes there because they don't know all the truths. They don't know all the things that actually happen. So they then, it's not a conspiracy theory or whatever. They make up these ideas. Oh, well, it could be this or it could be that. And all of a sudden now there's a dark person at the top of the food chain that's...
Oh, we shouldn't take things for face value, should we, Richard? We were lied to about JFK. We know that. We were lied to about everything possible. How should we take things at face value? I'm not saying there needs to be a revolution, but at the same time, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy realist, and there's a difference between that. I don't want to believe what the powers to be are selling me because they've sold me a bunch of bullshit for the last 50 to 60 years in the second half of the 20th century and beyond. Why are we supposed to take things at face value? Aren't we supposed to, as the public? Don't we have a voice? Aren't we supposed to say
we're
want more
supposed to have a voice? That's why
I've
we
got to
have,
take care of kids and pay the rent. That's the excuse. Which
That's
is
the
not an
excuse.
excuse. It's a reality.
That's the excuse.
But it gets in the way of all the other information that's coming at me. So I got to
elected
take
official
care
can
of
we
this
trust?
or that.
Why? But why is it so popular to believe that someone from the left or someone from the right, regardless of which party, even a third party,
whatever's easiest for me to take care of my family and put food on the table.
That's a singular need, right?
That's where I go to.
Right.
And all the rest I can't deal with because it's just too much.
But can we be in favor of a politician and not like them? Can we still say, I like what this person has done, even a Ralph Nader from the old Green Party, I like what this person represents, but I don't like them. Do you vote for someone you don't like personally?
It's whatever you, that's choice, you know.
That's what I'm
Do I
asking.
want to do this or do I think that will help this?
Sure.
Richard, right now, so
yeah. What do you guys think, Richard and Devon? Can you vote for someone that you don't like personally, or does that go hand in hand? Do you not like them because of the policies that they stand for?
Well, I got to say this, and I don't mean to cut anybody off. You know, this past election, no one seemed to be happy with the candidates, and I was hearing that all the time, that no one was happy with the candidates that were up, you know, running for president.
Right.
And, you know, it's kind of like, okay, well, if you're not happy with either side, then who do you vote for?
The new guy.
The new, right, or like an independent guy.
Hey, Devon, you do what Richard Pryor did in Brewster's Millions. None of the above.
Yeah,
none of the above.
But I also feel that no matter who you put in the White House, they're not the ones calling the shots. I just don't believe that.
That's true. I believe that too.
I don't care. Look, you can blame Trump, you can blame Biden, Obama, Bush, Reagan. The list goes on and on. In my opinion, and this is no disrespect, but I got to feel that they're all puppets in a way.
Well, I agree with you. Because look,
somebody else is running that and telling them what to do.
There are the Bilderberg meetings do happen. People are trying to direct this towards a one world currency. How come if I espouse something like this, all of a sudden I'm either left or right? See, that's what we do. We pigeonhole people based on their opinions and call them names or give them taglines that separate them from being intelligent, thought-provoking human beings. So if I say something like this, or if Devon's saying something like this, well, he's a conservative. Ooh, scary conservative. If Richard's saying something like this, oh, he's a bleeding heart liberal. That's the problem. We have too many of these titles we attach to people based on their opinions, and that's all we view them as. We view them as the title that we created for them, rather than the human being that they are. That's the issue.
We just elected somebody that is like at the top of the name calling list. He's very good at just, you know, making up names of people and making fun of them. And
the key word is making up.
Yeah.
Making up.
Yeah, okay.
There's no excuse for that. I don't like that. There should never be a dividing line. There should never be a politician who's using their power and their platform to cause division and hate. That sucks. I agree with you, man. That really does stink. I just wish the left and the right both took a cue. Instead of the left deciding, hey, you know what? This isn't working for us. We're going to go the other way and be more civil. They tried to match that. They tried to do the same thing that Donald Trump was doing by using rhetoric and by using ugly language to defame the other person. So it's almost like two rights don't make a wrong.
Well, they had to. I mean, he completely annihilated Liz Cheney and the other Bush, Jeb
Bush.
You know, he just made fun of them so hard that they had to leave the playground.
Yeah,
it really is sad. It's a sad state of affairs.
I think that we're in a transition period. I mean, of evolution. I mean, we're going somewhere, and we're right now dealing with the change. We're going through a change right now.
Now, we are that guy holding the what you said, the evolutionary chain.
Darwin
chart, the evolution, Charles Darwin.
Chart.
Yeah,
we're right there, but it's got we're
only
in
because
between.
we don't have the imagination
it's the tipping point right
where
now.
It's going to go next.
Yes.
Where are we going? We're off a cliff. We're going off a cliff little by little.
Well, we don't know. But
it looks like that.
But right now, we're trying to deal with the fact. You know what? We're in the what? We're between 15 and 17. You know, we got acne.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what
Our
Homo
frontal lobe
sapiens
hasn't
is.
Oh my gosh!
collected.
I want to follow up, Richard, what Larry said. I would always tell people like this. I compare our country to that right now of a 16-year-old rebel boy, because think about the 50s. The 50s represent maybe an innocent time. Of course, it wasn't so innocent, but it represents an innocent time, like a 10-year-old who, of course, is growing up and wants his ice cream and toys. Now we've evolved into that rebellious jerk of a teen who thinks he knows everything and is rebelling against the status quo. We're now a teenager. We forget that we're only 250, as of next year, 250 years old.
Hopefully.
Well, we're on. No, wait a minute.
No, let's hang on that.
No, no, wait a minute.
250. That we're a young country. We're a young country.
No. We're only, I would say, 250,000 years old.
As a country.
No, as a species, we're pretty young. We're probably one of the youngest species on the planet. So we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
But you have to admit, Larry, but we have a sense of superiority in this country. We have a sense of superiority.
That's because we're like 15. I mean, I just don't believe we've got a handle on where we are and what we're doing.
We're immature. And you know what sucks?
As Homo sapiens.
To follow up with what Larry said, we're like that
species.
We're like a 16-year-old boy who's immature, but still setting the tone for the rest of the world. Would you put, Leave It to Beaver in charge of the country, or Dennis to Dennis? No, that's what we are.
Yeah.
Gotta give
that's as close as, yeah.
I see what you're saying. I really do. And guys and gals and pals who are watching again, please give it up to Larry Hankin, Devon Dudley, Richard Karn. They do their homework. They're coming in here. They're giving their opinions. We got to respect them. Here in this place, we could talk and use that word, politics. There's no lightning bolt. It's fine. We're having a civil discourse.
I never got to defend humanity.
No, you are now.
Oh,
I didn't get my segue.
I didn't get my segue.
Richard.
I had a good segue coming up. It's okay. Guys and gals and pals, we're using all of our tools in our toolbox. And speaking of which, Richard Karn has a lot of tools as an actor, and his character had a lot of tools on Home Improvement, portraying Al. Right now, he's going to take some of those tools out and see if he can maybe adjust some of those tools, fix this topic, see where he goes. If humanity were put on trial by an advanced race of aliens, how would you defend humanity and argue for its continued existence and why? The floor is yours whenever you're ready to go, good sir.
Okay, all right. Well, Larry mentioned Homo sapiens are kind of like the reason we are where we are. But, Homo sapiens evolved out of Cro-Magnon. The Cro-Magnons were there before. The reason they went away was because their intestinal tubes weren't long enough. They couldn't digest the foods as cleanly as then Homo sapiens who took over. But as we grew, as we went from groups, small groups, to clans, to a village, to a city, to a town, to a country, we evolved along the way, and we brought certain things along with us. We brought wheat. There was probably 100 different types of wheat, but we brought one that we could cultivate and feed our growing population, and rice. And what else did we bring with us? There were like food groups, and then one of the biggest things of the 20th century, as far as being made, was barbed wire. Barbed wire all of a sudden changed the whole outlook of how people could keep their cattle in their own pens, which comes down to commerce, because it's my cattle, not your cattle. I'm going to sell this and like that. But when we've got a race of people that have come to put us on trial, it's like, okay, well, if you've been watching us, how did you guys evolve? How did you get to the point where you could travel millennia through this galaxy? I mean, aren't you in the same place years and years and years ago that we are now? So, maybe cut us a little bit of a break. We learn from our mistakes, and then we go back and we have to relearn that mistake, 4 or 5 times sometimes. That's why
what evolution is all about. That's what it's called, evolution.
Yes. Yes.
And well, we're in the early stages of the revolution. We've got a lot more to learn, man. Because
we certainly hope so.
I certainly hope so. Because if we don't,
Well, basically, we have human nature has needs, food, shelter, and then intellectually we need friends. We need to. We need education, and certain people.
We need a little more a little less knowledge and a little more knowledge. You know.
Well, if we can figure out the internet is teaching people at a weird pace, and it's not always the right information, or it's a skewed fact to kind of push a certain agenda. Maybe, I don't know, but we now have
in defense. Is this in defense of humanity? What is your defense?
Our defense is that you went through the same thing we're going through. Give us some time. Let us, let us figure it out. Let us, before we can build a ship that can go, 1 billion light years in 2 seconds.
Right.
And then maybe you'll be afraid that we will then start putting wars somewhere else. But until that time comes, we're still working it out. We're still, give us some credit. We, look at our art, look at our literature, look at what we've created on the good side of the spectrum as far as humanity is concerned.
All right, can I ask you a question, Richard?
Yeah.
The question is, okay, I agree with what everything you're saying, but my comment on it is, does that get us to extinction or to the stars and the rest of the universe? I say it's bringing us pretty close to extinction because we're not learning fast enough.
Well,
that's just what I'm saying. So that's why I don't think I can defend it, because I don't see where this person, this Homo sapiens, I don't see where they're doing enough right things, where I looked at other species and they didn't make it. They didn't get along with their environment. They didn't get along with their food. They were eaten by other animals. They couldn't protect themselves. Whatever it is, Homo sapiens are not developing that. Excuse me? What?
That's the circle of life.
Well, or the end of it. Yeah.
We wrote songs about that. We made a movie about that. And that's where our humanity comes in, is in our art, in our way of trying to figure out, Cicero back in the Romans, or Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk had to defend us every other week. Good, I'm glad he is. It'll probably be his birthday, because he likes to have a birthday like every other week.
He does.
Also in the wrestling business, we always say it can't be a me type of thing. In order for me and my opponent to be able to work together and to be able to entertain the people when they're watching us, we both got to be on the same page. We have to be able to create as a unit. And I think that's where we get away from, because we're not on the same page. It's a me type of thing. Everybody's thinking about what can I do for myself, not thinking about what we can do together, but everything is so separate. Everybody's selfish in that aspect. So, if you're not on the same page, like I said, in pro wrestling, if you're not on the same page,
right,
if you're not dancing together, then it's not going to work.
Is that, Devon, is that a sign of the times, or is that just human nature, you think?
I think it's a little of both. I think it's a little of both, because
television just keeps us going from one crisis to the next.
Sure.
We don't have time to take a breath.
Richard, do you agree that most people? Do you agree, Richard, that most people are entitled to their own opinion, but most people seem to think they're entitled to their own facts, but they're not. They're producing stuff that isn't factual and presenting it as such. Now, here's the quandary. Here's where I it's a bit of a double standard. We're doing a show right now where we're talking about things that matter to us. Who's to say somebody else doesn't have the right to plug in their microphone and their headphones? Of course they do. But here's my problem is regulation. Is that such a dirty word? Shouldn't we have qualified people to talk about topics that they're qualified to speak about? Because unfortunately, you guys have kids and grandkids. They're taking some of the stuff they're seeing on social media platforms that's being sold as fact. They're taking them so literally. They're not looking at news outlets. Nobody reads newspapers anymore. The printing press is a thing of a bygone era. Nobody cares anymore. It's sad.
Yeah.
It really is.
How is somebody capable? How do we choose people that are capable? Apparently, all the norms.
We still haven't.
You mean elected officials, Richard? Elected officials?
Elected officials are bringing in people that, they might work, they might not. We don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Look, everybody thought that the United States was a perfectly great idea when it was first started back in 1776 or whenever.
I don't know if the British thought
but it's
so.
not turning out that well. Well, okay, but right now it's not a good idea. We're all of a sudden it wasn't. Oh, we didn't think about a guy like Trump.
Yeah.
Oh. So, yeah, well, we'll fix that. And then another guy will come along, or another woman, or another being, or another species, or another, and we accommodate that and cope
I think
with
it's the
that.
beautiful part of what Larry said and Richard and Devon is that what I'm getting out of everything is we want to have hope. We want to believe that it's going to get better. The thing about it's very bleak. I'm not a bleak guy. Is what we just said. You could have a commander-in-chief that hits all the categories that mean something to us, right? Their foreign policy is something that speaks to us. When they take care of the education system here, maybe they do a good job of doing that. The problem is that once they become the predecessor, a lot of their policies can be essentially whitewashed, taken away completely. The system doesn't allow long-term prosperity. That's the issue. It sucks. It really does suck.
That's what's called a
there should be term limits.
successful species.
Yes.
We are not a successful species yet. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. You can give me all your reasons are valid. It just, to me, we're not a successful species yet. We may be, we may not be, but I don't know how to defend that. And law has not developed how to defend evolution.
Right.
In other words, I think it's an argument. As a matter of fact, Homo sapiens are having an argument with evolution. Evolution is too slow for us.
Right.
We want to make our own. Come on, let's get this part.
Right. Keep moving. We're in that era. And guys and gals, if you want things to keep moving, these days you have to have a nice automobile. That automobile's got to keep moving. In order for it to keep moving, sometimes it's got to be detailed. Sometimes there's a paint job. You want to keep moving and making some noise? Here's where you go. You guys need to go right now to Florida for 3D automotive detailing. This is incredible. Look, Mr. Matt Cardona's there. He likes the job that was done over there. This is This is amazing stuff over here. I don't live in Florida, but I visit and frequent there a lot. And you could see a lot of great reviews over here. It's 3D automotive detailing and already some amazing reviews. The Undertaker's right there. Matt Cardona's right there. Some really good stuff. How long have you had this, Mr. Dudley?
I'm going to say going on 6 years now.
6 years is pretty awesome. Wow.
6 years, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
6
really
years
cool.
and loving every bit of it. We start all the way from Fort Lauderdale up to Daytona Beach.
Incredible stuff.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it's a large area of Florida that we take care of. So I'm very happy about that, and it's very successful. You know, I got a team with me that basically loves cars and, loves cleaning them and detailing them. And they asked me, well, Devon, would you come and help us? I go, no. That's why I hired you.
I love that. Guys and gals and pals, this is a man who, again, trained under a trailblazer named Johnny Rods, worked his first match in 92. I told you about that a bit in my intro, but this is a man who paid his dues. He took up various jobs to help his family pay bills. Mr. Devon Dudley, post office. He earned almost nothing from training and working various indie promotions in the Northeast. But at the end of the day, this man kept going, and he kept going, and he kept going. And just getting support from family is tough. There was one person, though, in his family especially, who always supported him. And please, can you speak about that person, Mr. Devon?
Yeah, well, it was actually two. It was my grandfather who helped fund me the money to find a wrestling school, and my grandmother.
Wow.
They were big fans of mine doing it. And my grandmother was worried because,
sure,
our little grandson, getting his little butt kicked, and I was barely 200 pounds at the time.
Right.
I was probably maybe 165, 170, and you got all of these giants, in the middle of the ring. So, I look like a little ant compared to these guys. So a lot of family members really weren't on my side. Now, my mother, who, both my parents being preachers, my father was a bishop, my mother was a reverend. And let's just say when I told her that I was not taking the scholarship to go play football, and she goes, well, what are you going to do? Because you can't live in my house without, a career, a job or something. You got to go to school. I said, I want to go to school, but they won't give me the scholarship because I won't play football.
Sure.
So she said, what are you going to do? I said, well, you get this. You ready? I'm going to do pro wrestling. Let me just say the jaw dropped. She went in the room. She slammed the door.
Yeah.
she came out, and I thought it was a bottle of holy water because I thought she was going to perform the exorcism right there on the spot.
Right.
But let me just say this: she called me every name but my name that day, and I had to look. I go, "Ma, you're a reverend," and that was the wrong thing to say at the time.
It's great that she supported you ever since. That support system is so important. And you mentioned football. You know, guys, Richard Karn played football. His family used to have Husky football season tickets for several years, so he was always involved with the games growing up. I know you monitor some of the UW football outings from afar when you're not in the stadium, but I want to bring this up as well, paying your dues. And guys, we're going to get out of here in a moment, but I have to bring this up because Richard, a man that's done a lot of Broadway plays, your debut was in Me and My Girl, which opened up the marquee. You played a suit of armor. You had one physical bit. You get a laugh. You were home 40 minutes after the show starts. You appear often in off-Broadway productions, and you went up for everything. And what you got cast most was in comedies. But you also did serious stuff. At Players Theater in Columbus, Ohio, you played the inspector in a Sherlock Holmes play, but what you really enjoyed doing was stuff like The Foreigner and The Nerd, right?
Those were very funny American-made farces, and it was just, you know, I literally had someone fall into the aisle laughing. I mean, I saw this person fall into the aisle. I was very proud of that. But
that's awesome.
You know, I built a lot of my early career on just saying yes, whatever it was, you say yes. Then there came a point where all of a sudden, you know, you don't always say yes because then you have choices, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing or not. It just is, you know. But I still want to say yes, and that's why I have hope for humanity.
I love that, absolutely, guys. And hey, I'm not taking shots. We love them. The studio system. There's still hope for humanity, guys and gals. That's my soapbox. I'll talk about Lionsgate. But guys, let's talk about Larry Hankin, Richard Karn, and Devon Dudley. They're awesome. I do want to play right now a tribute video for each of them. Why not? Because I put together a 60-second video for each of them as they bid us adieu right now.
Wow.
Prior to that, yes, Richard, I'm sorry?
I said, wow.
Oh, you guys deserve that. And prior to that, I have a quick 60-second video of those that are part of this network that we've lost, those that we bid adieu. We give them tribute, those who left us way too soon. Trio of options for Gallagher, more underrated than why? Sauerkraut, Henry Kissinger's deep soothing voice, or dogs wearing sweaters?
I like dogs wearing sweaters.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, I haven't done an interview in 20 years.
Mr. Sizemore, first name Tom. How are you, my friend? I could turn the volume lower if you'd like next time. If you'd like me to do that, Tom, I could do that.
Wow, that was something else. I don't know what I can do now.
Oh, please.
That was terrific, man.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And what, as charming as a guy that you are, man, and as honest as a guy as you are, and as down to earth as a guy as you are, you played a character that isn't so down to earth named Scrooge in college. You played Scrooge, and of course, I feel like a thespian should rely on their instinct. Do you feel like you rely on your instinct a lot as a storyteller as well?
I mean, playing Scrooge at that young an age was, when I think about it now, only way I could have done it is I was relying on my instincts. You know, I could have done it any other way. Okay.
More underrated than why? Unicycles, Italian men named Skippy, or sophisticated dinosaurs?
What? More sophisticated dinosaurs?
Yeah,
I want to say the sentence. Italian men named Skippy. I just want to say.
Yes. Yeah. Italian men named Skippy.
I just want to say the sentence. Italian men named Skippy.
Yeah, something you'll never hear. Yeah. Did you have fun? Did you have a nice time?
I had a great time. It was Paul.
Yeah, man.
I want to do it again. This is great. I just think it's going to be, a lot of fun for people. I don't think people don't like this on the air. I don't think really. No, there isn't. I just think it's going to be I'm very interested in how people respond to it, because I know it's going to be interesting and see if people tune in and stay tuned in, and I really hope they do. And I'm all yours, bro. Let's go out and make this work. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.
I teach a workshop, and one of my students finally said about my class about iambic pentameter. He finally said, "I got it," and he was excited, and it was both his elation and those three words that make it worthwhile, right?
Amen. You got it. But I think I've got to have equally passionate people involved in the production of it. That passion will override any reservations anybody has as to the show's potential for entertainment or education.
Did you feel as if transitioning to the stage and performing live theater was a natural fit for you?
Yes, I did. I always felt very comfortable on stage, more so on stage than I did in film or television. So I'm looking forward to you, Avi, giving me your thoughts and your input, because as I told you, that piece that you sent me is, I love good writing, and I think
Thank you,
that's been
sir.
the secret of my career. And this is a beautiful piece of writing, as I said. I'm referring to the piece that you wrote me. You're onto something because you're a writer. You're a creative force, and I want to hook up.
Thank you so much for those kind words, guys. Thank you for being you, my friend. I appreciate you and respect you wholeheartedly.
And that goes double for me to you, Avi.
You guys would have liked my dad. He would have loved you guys too. Lost him a couple months ago, but you would have enjoyed his company. I feel, and I just wish you guys could have gotten to know him. I know it sounds sappy, but I feel like he's here with us now, and I'm glad you guys are here with me right now. I'm glad we're departing right now because we had a great conversation. And thank you for carving out time in this TKN Celebrity Tournament that really is letting people know that regardless if you're a wrestler, an actor, a basketball player, that's just your profession, or it was. You're way more than that. And that's what my objective here is to do, is to have these conversations take place and bring us together without dividing us, because we don't need that. We can talk about things and all of a sudden make the audience forget that Larry Hankin is an Oscar nominee, that Richard Karn is an award-winning actor, that Devon Dudley's a Hall of Famer. They can forget that until they watch the tribute, because there's a lot of highlights. Until they watch that, they can forget and get lost in the person. And these are amazing people. So guys and gals, again, give it up to these three fine quality human beings. Did you guys have a nice time, I hope?
Had a great time.
Of course. Really good time.
You guys are awesome. I'm going to play Larry his video first. And then, guys, Devon and Richard Karn tribute video, 60 seconds for each individual. Devon and Richard, anything you'd like to tell Larry before he bids us adieu?
Larry, I really enjoyed talking with you. That was a lot of information in a very short time.
Okay. I'll answer you tomorrow morning when I figure out what you're.
I get that.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, really great meeting you guys. I mean, it's a pleasure. I can meet somebody outside of the business that I do. Not to mention, just watching you guys, over the years has been such a great time. So, thank you very much for your hospitality and your genuine sincerity. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Devon.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Devon and Richard, please don't go anywhere. I'll put you backstage for a brief moment because I got a tribute video for you guys as well. A 60-second tribute. I'm going to put Mr. Devon Dudley backstage, Mr. Richard Karn backstage. I've got a tribute video for them coming up. Larry, this is, from me to you, kind of like a trip down memory lane.
Thank you,
I
Avi.
appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, my friend.
That's amazing.
Did you have a nice time tonight, my friend?
Yes. I enjoyed everybody. I didn't enjoy me that much, but
We all enjoyed you. We all
David,
enjoyed you.
Levon and Richard. Cool show. Thank you very much, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to talk to you very soon on the phone about some other things, but thank you again for being who you are. You are a beautiful friend, and you mean a lot to me, so thank you.
Thank you.
Let's bring here Mr. Devon Dudley right now. Guys and gals, this is sort of a trip down memory lane for Mr. Devon Dudley, who, again, graced us with his time. This is for you, my friend. Well, I appreciate you, my friend. That's from me to you. Did you have a nice time? Surpassed expectations, maybe?
Past expectations. I mean, I had a great time. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little nervous, you know. Read
Sure.
the question, I was like, how am I gonna do this? And then it just once it started, it was like stepping out of the curtain for the first time, going to the ring. Once you step out, takes over from there.
I see
Had a
what you
really
mean.
great time, you know, meeting everybody, and I mean, it was just truly an honor to be here today. Thank you.
I'm glad we're making new friends right now, guys and gals. I consider Devon a fast friend. Thanks for sharing your mind and your heart and soul with us, my friend. I'm going to be in touch with you. And guys and gals and pals, I'm going to keep promoting this great YouTube channel that's on the rise. And I'm doing that because of the great content that this great man is able to give you, to provide you. So please make sure you hit up that great YouTube channel. And thank you again for joining us, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
100%. What a great human being. Hall of Fame human being, Hall of Fame person. Right, Richard? I mean, it's great to be able to get to know the person behind the persona.
Yeah, it really is. And you get to do that here. You know, you take the time, you've done your research, and you bring it out of people.
Thank you. I appreciate that, my friend. I really do. Well, you mean a lot to us. And again, as a fellow theater nerd back in the day and also sports guy, it's funny to be able to track your growth as an artist, but I love knowing your journey because your journey is so very reminiscent of my own. And I say that because there were times where I didn't know where it would take me. There were a lot of forks in the road.
Yeah.
And right? Like the cool thing about being a working actor is what job would allow me to still audition? And you were like a hotel, were you an apartment manager? Is that what it was?
Well, I got free rent. So
yeah,
I was an apartment manager.
That's so cool because you found time to prioritize a couple of things, family, but also being able to still hone your skills in this craft that you committed to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I think about being an apartment manager, it cracks me up because I worked a whole month for rent, which was $900 at the time.
Wow.
So I got $900 a month.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Incredible stuff, my friend. And I hope you enjoy this trip down memory lane. This is from me to you. Well, I hope you enjoyed that trip down
wow.
memory lane, my friend. You deserve it. And
I did. Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you.
Do you have a nice time tonight, my friend?
I did. Like he said, I wasn't quite sure what is going to happen, but once you're in it, the flow just kind of goes along. It brings out little things that you've collected over the years, and you can try and articulate them as best you can.
I love that you said that, but I also love that you stand for something cool, which is one of them is St. Jude. Can you please let our viewers know again? If they'd like to make some donations, I would love for them to do it for something that stands for something like St. Jude. Could you please give us some information about your association with St. Jude?
Well, back when I had my tournament, I had Patrick Warburton at my tournament for the first, 18 years. He was there almost every year. But then when he started his own in the desert with Clark Rainey, I was invited to that and have continued over 10 years going to that. In fact, I visited the hospital last year, which was really fascinating, in Memphis, and seeing the doctors there and seeing the facility, and the families might have to be there 2, 3, 4 months as their little babies are being brought back to health, hopefully. And they don't have to pay a cent because all of that money is taken care of from the charities.
That's so beautiful. I'm glad you stand for that, man. Really, I want to tell you that in the few conversations we had, 4 or 5 or 6, your humility does shine through, and that's cool because even though we're in the industry, it doesn't mean that we have to surround ourselves with that stereotypical Hollywood energy, which you don't have. You're as real comes, and I appreciate you for being so ground to earth and so grounded. Period, my friend.
Thank you, buddy.
You have a great rest of the evening, sir.
All right. You take care.
You too. Guys and gals and pals, the floor is now all yours. Thank you again.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, this is what we do every Saturday night. If you've been watching, I'm sure like me, you've been moved. We got exposed to amazing conversation, vulnerability, intellect, passion. I could never really put it, all into, words, but I mean, that is so much of what we do every Saturday night. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful you guys are here with us. So before I go into any deeper tidbits of what we just saw, please, guys, now is the time when you can vote. All right, put in your vote, guys. I also want to tell you very importantly, there's not going to be a post show tonight. All right, but nonetheless, stick around because we got some amazing things. And speaking of amazing things, guys, if you thought tonight was amazing, okay, tune in, stay seated, okay, because we have an amazing outro that will let you know who we got here tonight, who we got next Saturday night. I'm sorry, my words are I'm stumbling because I'm taking in what we just did, what we just saw, what we just experienced. You have 3 gentlemen from, for the most part, different industries, different experiences, and they're coming together to talk about really deep, really heavy, really hard-hitting topics, again, provided by the freaking awesome Avi Klein. And guys, this is it. This is what I'm talking about, right? We were talking about politics, and we were able to do it in a civil manner where we're not screaming our heads off. If that doesn't mean anything to you, I don't know what does. Because when I'm able to witness that, I'm able to watch that, I'm like, yes, this is how you do it. We could talk about these really volatile subjects, but we could do it in a way where we're listening to each other. And that is beautiful. That is beautiful because I don't think that we're doing that anymore, really listening to each other. And I don't want to get in a soapbox, but I just want to let you know how much I feel about this and what we witnessed tonight. So, man, God forbid we talk politics in a civil manner. Yeah, exactly, Paolo. I completely agree. This was a great 11th hour match. Pete, I actually agree with you there, Pete. Yeah, keep your comments coming, guys. And again, start voting, guys, because this is definitely the opportunity. Joe Rizzi, these are the times you got to be grateful. 3 major players in one night. I completely agree. Everybody, please welcome Karen Can to the TKN family. Let's show the love. Hey, Karen Can, awesome you are here. How awesome you're here tonight. Oh, man. God, you guys are coming just great. Khan. All right, that is Karen Khan to the TKN family. All right, awesome. Showing you some love, Karen. Imagine John O'Hurley versus Richard Karn in a Family Feud showdown of host. Wow, that would be amazing. John Wilders, it's really great to see. It is, John. It's great to see you, John. My man, Brad Platt. Hell yeah, rock on TKN. Brad, very amazing belt maker and a man of so many other talents. Thank you, Avi, for bringing an awesome night for us. Yes, thank you so damn much, Avi Klein. All right, so to jump into it, my friends, history writes love to hear good discussing on politics where heads. Yeah, Ed, that's what I'm talking about, Ed. I mean, God. Again, think about it. Think about the themes and the subjects we were all talking about tonight, right? Think about how the other, talking heads deal with it. A lot of the times it erupts, into fights, and no one's really listening to each other, right? And it's all for sound bites and salacious, scenes and moments. And we don't do that here. We try to really just genuinely listen to each other. We might disagree, and that's okay. It is okay to disagree, as long as we're able to respect each other enough to say, hey, you know what? I don't agree with you, but I understand where you're coming from. And again, that is what so much of what we do here at TKN every Saturday night is all about. So if this is your first time viewing, guys, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dogs, tell your cats, tell your parakeets, tell your abuelas, tell your tios, tell everyone that this is where it's at every Saturday night. It's an even platform here. I completely agree. Man, some amazing comments coming in tonight. So, all right, the first topic, history rights a wrong. Larry Hankin, welcome again to the green room. Warms my heart. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Larry Hankin was one of our first celebrity guests, and it was awesome to see him again in God, just passionate and like rebutted. I think it was like 3 or 4 rebuts in there. 4 years ago, Larry Hankin graced our virtual stage, our virtual screen, and that's a really beautiful, special thing when I think about that. And also, tidbit fact here, took one of Avi Klein's acting classes. Larry was actually a student of Avi's, and I'm not surprised because Avi is a freaking damn amazing teacher. But yeah, one of Avi Klein's students, Larry Hankin. Very awesome. So Hankin, he talked about Jesus, and he talked about Genghis Khan, and Genghis Khan, pronouncing that wrong. And one of the things he would tell Jesus is just, and this is kind of endearing and beautiful in a way, it's just keep it quiet. You're going to get in trouble. Just calm it down. Right, that's what he would have told Jesus, and with Genghis, he would have told them essentially, "Hey, just keep it together, keep it quiet, and just don't go crazy." What I really loved is that I did not know that he died of a brain hemorrhage, and every time these competitors come on, and I'm able to learn something new, I love it. I really truly love it. His main point was to really reflect on how you're presenting your point of view. That's what he would tell both of those historical figures. So, all right, then we got Devon here. And guys, take that in. Devon Dudley, WWE Hall of Famer, was here tonight. I freaking love that. I know you guys were thinking, hey, let's get the tables. I know you were waiting for that. But again, think about that. We all know him as this, amazing WWE performer, but here on this show, he's able to open up, and we're able to see this amazing, beautiful human being with amazing thoughts and passion and points of view, and it's what we do here, right? We're able to humanize these, amazing competitors. So Devon talked about the Mike Tyson fight. Oh man. His point of view was that essentially it was a rigged fight. and he would have told Mike, why did you get into this fight and throw it? Maybe you could have played with Paul a bit more, kind of like a cat and mouse kind of scenario. So I thought that was very cool. And then he talked about Michael Jordan and how Michael Jordan was actually, compared to LeBron, a more scarier figure that people would not want to kind of go up against on the court. And I never played against. I could only imagine that's probably very, very much true. And then Richard brought up Mitch McDonald, if I'm not mistaken, and he would ask him, you were elected to work for the people, and you haven't done that. You haven't done that honestly. And I thought that was a really interesting take to talk to a modern political figure. But my vote ultimately for this first topic, I'm gonna go with Hankin. And I just like I like how concise he was. I also like the kind of the diversity in his pick. You go from Jesus Christ to intelligent men having intelligent conversations about stimulating subjects, only on TKN. Avi makes it possible each week. So voting topic 1, Devon, love it. And topic 2, Richard, love your picks, John. And I completely agree. This is where you get to see a content like this and nowhere else, right? So thank you, John. John, we always appreciate what you bring to the table, your comments, your generosity, your passion, your love. We love you, brother. Time, it was definitely a hard decision because Richard almost had me, but then Larry pulled on my heart. Yeah, Larry did. Larry came in with fire. So yes, my first vote goes to Larry. I love the diversity of his 2 picks, Jesus to Genghis Khan. It was amazing. Second topic, Avi. I love this topic. I wanted to kind of jump in there and go in and talk about it myself. If humanity were put on trial, God, and I would love to be a fly on the wall when Avi is looking at the wall, coming up with these topics. I really would. Man, so Larry, right off the bat, he just said plea bargain. That's how he would play. And Avi came in with this really awesome question. He's like, well, is there any hope for humanity? And Hankin's response to that is, well, I watched the news and I can't keep track of all the craziness, essentially, is what Larry was talking about. Devon, how do you defend? Well, Devon phrased this great question. He said, how do you defend all the wars that we've had? How do you defend that, all the loss of humanity as a result of those wars? He said, how many people have to die before we wake up? So, man, not a very strong case for humanity. And then Richard came in with, and this actually got in my heartstrings. Richard came in and said, well, because Larry asked him a great question. He's like, well, what's your plea for humanity? And he said, you went through the same thing we're going through. And I was like, well, he's talking to the alien. He's talking to the alien race that has humanity on trial. And I thought that was brilliant. Essentially saying, look, you're civilized, you're a civilized civilization. Somehow you made it through to a very, a very evolved state of being. You went through the same thing. So you have to understand that we're also struggling as well as a species. So give us time. We're working on it. And I love that. And to kind of echo, Avi always brings this great kind of adolescent America metaphor, talking about how America is kind of this adolescent kid kind of just making these, wild decisions. And I kind of thought of that when I was hearing Richard. So my vote for my second topic goes to Richard. But I think all 3 men did an amazing job. I think we were made that much more wiser just to listen in to these 3 men speak. And I am very excited and enthused to hear what another amazing co-host here at TKN has to say. Giselle, what is up? She is in this house. She's going to be letting us know what she thinks. And I think I am always grateful to be here, guys, with you. And there will be, ladies and gentlemen, not tonight, but next week, there'll be a very exciting post show. All right. And the post show always comes after our main show. But there's going to be a post show next week. And guys, stick around because we got this amazing outro. Guys, where you're going to be informed as to who are going to be the luminaries that will grace us with their presence next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here. Okay, so stick around. You do not want to miss that. If you miss it, guys, you're not going to be able to sleep tonight. I know you will. You'll be regretting it. You'll be regretting that decision. Man, I did not catch the outro on the Tournament Tonight show. So with that said, guys, again, stick around. An amazing outro. We'll be ending the show tonight, and we will let you know who will be coming up next Saturday. And remember that ties can happen during the 11th hour matchup. Okay, very important fact. All right, keep that in mind, guys. Ties can happen in the 11th hour match. All right, so still suspenseful, still amazing. Stick around, guys. We got so much more for you guys. And speaking of so much more, we have the amazing Giselle.
Wow. That's the only way I can sum up tonight. That's the only way I can sum up the last month. The topics alone have been wow. And then combine that with all of the competitors who have appeared each and every week, whether they're round 2, whether they're 11th hour, and the amazing, intelligent conversations, both that come from both the topics and between the topics. Everyone together is just, hi, Phil. Hi, Joe. Eric, I haven't been able to sleep this past week waiting to see who would be on. I understand. Oh, you will find out very soon, Joe, how I see this one. But first, if you have not already done so, please put your votes in the comment section for both topics. Let us know who you're voting for topic 1, and then who you're voting for topic 2. You can put them in separate comments. You can put them in the same comment, but put them in the comment section of this broadcast on our YouTube channel where you currently are right now. And if you have not already, please join the 73.2 thousand subscribers who say they enjoy our content. They like what we're providing. They love what we're doing each and every week. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Hello, Sharon. Thank you for joining us again this evening. Well, I was having a rather delightful evening, Pete. I don't know if I am anymore, but I have a job to do, and I take it very seriously, just as these 3 competitors took their match very seriously. So in the comments, let us know who you vote for topic number 1 and for topic number 2. Subscribe if you haven't. Also remember to like the broadcast. That really helps us out too. And share it with your friends and family. People who are fans of Richard Karn, who might have loved Home Improvement growing up or Family Feud. People who are fans of Larry Hankin, who does everything. People who are fans of Devon Dudley, a fantastic wrestler, tag team. I mean, a WWE Hall of Famer. What more could you possibly ask for? And where else could you see all 3 of these personalities together on the same screen at the same time? And tomorrow night, if you need a way to convince somebody to subscribe to this channel and watch us every week, we are going to be having a best of moments from tonight's match. Yes, from the very match you just witnessed, uploaded to this very YouTube channel at 9 p.m. Eastern. Best of moments from tonight's 11th hour match, uploaded tomorrow, Sunday, February 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern to our YouTube channel. There are so many videos on there. There are all of our matches live. There are short form videos. There are long form videos. Everything you need to see is on that YouTube channel. So this is the place to be for all things TKN. So please subscribe. Please hit that like button. We like seeing that little thumbs up. And continue to comment and share away because we appreciate you, the engine who makes this thing go, and everything you say. We have the most intelligent viewers of anywhere. You're always so wonderfully sharing your thoughts and your opinions on the matches and giving us the reasons as to why you're voting for, who you're voting for, who resonated with you the most. You're voting without bias. Well, I suppose I can agree with you on this, Peaceful Pete. TKN is taking over the world. We have so much coming down the pike this month. So many announcements will be made. So keep watching us. Wednesday nights with the Black Box, Saturday nights with the Green Room, and the post show, which will not happen tonight, but will return next week. And the Friday feels. Be on the lookout on all our socials for the flyers and dates and days and times for everything. It will be there for you. There is no post show this evening, but we'll return with the post show next week. And get your votes in if you haven't. And please stay tuned for the outro. Hi, Miranda. Because the outro, and Miranda knows this very well, the outro is your first look at next week's match. The outro gives us the next reason to be hyped up all week, to look forward to next Saturday night, to get through the week so we can make it to next Saturday and see who's competing. Is it a round 2 match? Is it an 11th hour match? Who's coming in? Who's matched up next? And then once we know, we can sit there and wonder, what will the topics be? What happens if there's a tie? Oh, hey, there could be a tie tonight, by the way. This is an 11th hour match, and there are ties in 11th hour matches. There are not ties, with the exception of last week, in round 2 matches, and we have several tiebreaker matches waiting in the wings for you. So we have lots more to see in round number 2 of the Celebrity Tournament. There are no ties in round 2. Someone will be eliminated, but there could be ties in 11th hour. So make sure you get those votes in if you want to see the person who resonated with you most advance. If you want your favorites to continue on in this competition, get your votes in both topics right now. Topic 1, topic 2. Yes, Miranda, super exciting not knowing from week to week and guessing the competitors. It really is. You'll see that in the outro. Stay tuned until the end of this broadcast. I am excited. Oh, Pete, that's 2 agreements tonight. I am also excited for the outro. Not sure how I feel about agreeing with you so much, though. But now it's time to vote. And your votes are being pulled up on screen. You've seen them. They are being tallied in the back. And we will let you know what the results are. So we had a wonderful first topic. I always love these historical ones. And why is abbreviation such a long word? Why is it such a long word? Someone decided we needed to have fun. Like platypuses. Those are fun creatures. So our first topic. These historical ones are always great because they really make you think creatively. So which historical figure would you choose to right their wrong? In a nutshell, it's clearly more eloquently stated in the scrolling ticker when we saw it. But first, we had Larry Hankin with 2 picks, Jesus and Genghis Khan, and he chose them for both the same reason, thinking they're both a bit over the top, and he would just tell them, hey, rethink your presentation. Very interesting take, not one I've heard before. And then we had Devon, who also had 2 picks, Mike Tyson and his fight against Jake Paul, and the LeBron versus Michael Jordan debate. and where we fall on that. So I like that he brought in four different sports figures, but 2 different answers with sports figures and athletes. It really demonstrates the variety that we have on this show. And then we had Richard Karn, who talked about a current political figure and how he didn't feel like this person was doing his job, and would ask him to play fair. And I think that's all we really want of our elected officials, even if we agree or disagree with their stances. Play fair. Don't game the system. Don't try to best the other side. Do what's best for the country and for your constituents. He gave a lot of details about the time period and the frame and the all of the happenings within this time frame. So for the first topic, my vote is going to Richard Karn. And then we had a delightful conversation in between topics, everything from historical politics to moments of levity. There's some great jokes in there. It was really fun. They were all into it. I enjoyed seeing that quite a bit. And then we had our second topic. Our second topic, asking us to defend humanity. And Larry Hankin said, I don't know if I can. I'm going to put them in jail. But he also came in with a lot of questions for his competitors, and that made us and them think a lot more about this topic and what was going on and what were we really trying to get after and discuss. And Divan coming in with, you can't blame one person, it's a group effort. I really enjoyed that perspective. But once again, my vote is going to Mr. Karn for providing us with the history of humanity, Homo sapiens, our predecessors, what we did that was good, what we did that changed humanity, but also wanting to know how this alien species evolved and trying to make them empathize with us because they've been in the same place we are. If they're more advanced, they've had to go through all of the various trials that we've had to go through. So how did you get here? You were once like us, very similar. So my second topic is also going to Mr. Karn. So this is your last chance. Get those votes in the comments section right now. We have a new video showing up with the best of moments from this evening's match tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. That will be on this YouTube channel that you are currently watching, this wonderful 228th consecutive episode of The Green Room. Howard, what do you think about that? 228 consecutive episodes.
Consecutive. I mean, that word in and of itself is just says it all, right? We have not missed a Saturday. Come rain, shine, sickness, lack of it, whatever. We have not missed a Saturday.
They've all been live.
And live. I mean, who else does that? I don't know. I know we do. And again, super thanks to Avi Klein. Huge as always, doing an amazing show. Just the amazing team we got here. 228. Whoa. That's amazing.
That is a huge number. We don't take breaks. We go straight through the air. All these topics spur such disgust with mainstream. Yeah, we go straight through the air. We don't take breaks. That is how we have gotten to 228.
Something you don't get until you just after you need it. Yeah, well,
why don't you get that a little bit louder, Howard?
I would agree. He puts it on again tonight. Yeah. Oh man.
And we are going to make it 229 episodes next week. So in just a few minutes, you are going to see the outro, which displays next week's match.
Yep.
Howard, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be another 11th hour? Do you think it's going to be?
I think that's the fun thing about what we do, right? The uncertainty, right? We don't know. We just simply don't know. And in a world where, everything is scheduled and planned, and, we have a moment, every Saturday night where we don't, right? Where we don't understand. We don't know. We don't, we do not, there's no way to tell who is going to be on next Saturday night, guys. And if you are excited about that as I am, stand up. All right, let's clap it out. All right, because every Saturday night we see this outro and we wait in anticipation. Who is it going to be? Which luminary? Is it going to be an athlete? Is it going to be a storyteller? Is it going to be a musician? We don't know, guys. I don't know, but I will tell you that.
Results are in.
I'm literally at the edge of my seat right here.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen, Howard?
Look, man, I could foresee all three of these guys coming in. I think Larry might be the top vote getter. I think, but I could also see. Yeah. What do you think? I don't know. What are you thinking?
Ooh, this one's hard. Oh gosh, I'm seeing a lot of love for all three competitors in the comment section. So I don't know how it's going to go yet, but we have the results. We will find out in mere moments.
In seconds.
Seconds. What happened this evening? Who is advancing?
Oh yeah.
Who?
Oh wait. Here you go.
Oh, how about you go ahead and read that?
Yeah. The top vote getter is the Oscar-nominated Green Room original himself. I just called it, a man that returns at the 11th hour and sneaks into this tournament, Larry Hankin! Yeah!
Congratulations, Mr. Hankin. I know everyone is going to be thrilled to see you more in this tournament and on the Green Room. Welcome back to the Green Room. It's been a long time, and you have advanced to round number 2 of the Celebrity Tournament. So we will definitely be seeing you again.
Whoa, want to read that one?
Ooh, Devon Dudley is second place and will also advance. Woohoo! Congratulations, Devon Dudley. That was really amazing. You came in strong. You fought back really hard with all of your competitors, and when they had questions and comments for you, you were able to stand your ground and really even explain more and go deeper.
Whoa, but wait, there's more. Richard Karn.
Yeah. Hi, Devon Dudley. All three advanced to round number 2. Richard Karn has tied Devon Dudley for second place.
Nice.
Round number 2 just got that much more difficult because Larry Hankin, Devon Dudley, and Richard Karn have all made it to round number 2. Let me know what you think about that in the comments.
I got sprinkles coming through. I don't know how that happened. I think it's a B side. I have no idea. Oh yeah, it's a B side. Look at that. It's a B side. I love it. But man, Larry was on fire tonight. I mean, he was just throwing in question and rebuttal, and that was awesome to watch. And as you guys know, there are no ties in round number 2. That's right, guys. No ties in number 2. Only at the 11th hour you'll get some 3-way ties or 2-way ties, but no ties in round number 2. Stakes get even higher. What do you think about that, Giselle?
Well, this is a competition. There are $15,000 on the line. There's a trip for 2 to Greece on the line. There's the Tom Sizemore Memorial Cup on the line. Yeah. And there's the pride of winning this entire field, which now, as of tonight, has 139 Hall of Famers, Olympians, and major award winners and nominees. Are we ready To find out next Saturday's match,
Let's go.
are you ready, Howard?
Let's go. I'm going to give you one of these. If it happens. There you go. There you go. I'm ready. Let's go.
Stick around for the outro.
Obsession's going to be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about?
And the reason why I chose Walter Cronkite, he saw this country in the 1960s, and so you witnessed a lot of this through civil rights, through a very turbulent time.
After the game, I told them, I said, look, if you're going to honor anybody again, tell them that it's going to happen, or do it after they've left so they can enjoy the whole, moment.
Right.
So the process did change.
At no time in any performance must you allow yourself to do anything but give a laser beam from right there of what is true and authentic.
But you got anything? And I said, I have this. And I did that character, and they said, we want that. And I said, I don't even know if I want to do it. It might be too over the top or something. And they said, just do that.
Martin Luther King gave his life so that everybody could be together, and damn if they aren't.
Did forge me into who I am as a black person, but it didn't necessarily have to do with violence. It didn't necessarily have to do with crime. It had to do with culture too.
And she made it fun for us. Not only was it something that we needed to do and had to do, but it was fun and enjoyable.
I was really, in my idle time, I was bored, so I started to invent games to play, and the first of these was alphabetical spelling.
To get out of hell, you got to walk through the fire, and you just keep on going.
Man, we just had such a great time on Married with Children. It was a great group of people, which, from the top on down, which...
We have one of the most famous quotes of all time. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And your saying would have been in place of that if it had been one of the
He learned from that moment that you had to look inside a guy's mind and his heart, not just at his size or his weight or some of his abilities as a football player.
So many people tolerated each other. And here it is, a little over 20 years later, and all of a sudden we're at each other's throats again. Over what? On Stand Up for Greatness, we're about having fun. We don't talk about people. We might have a little satire about things, but we don't take people's, serious words, especially when they're dealing with racism, out of context. We don't do stuff like that.
That when you move into a friendship with non-judgment and acceptance and wonder and naivete. Anything is possible.
To make sure you're good enough, you have to save everybody, which made me a great teacher.
Painted a portrait of what life is really like.
Sure.
With enormous sympathy, both for the bad and the good. That's what's interesting to me.
I like the idea that plays help people learn things and remember things. And that I relate to very much so.
Nonsense insanity of war that's going on, because I myself have participated in it, and lately I've lost 2 jobs because of it.
Allow them to only run on their names. That way it becomes important that the voter educate themselves. What does John Smith stand for?
I mean, it should just be a cap, because I look at all the things that could be done that, you know, when you look at a lot of our first responders, especially like our veterans, and know that veterans need help.
Should have had Nike all over me for decades ago, because I don't talk about things, I just do it.
I didn't make that stand because I was strong by any means, or that I felt like, oh, by doing this, but I think that it was a life-changing moment because I was no longer allowing myself to be a victim.
Like, I'm one of those people, you should be given your all the time, and you want to be the best all the time.
All of a sudden, she made it like, yeah, it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to be sexual. It's okay to talk about virginity. This is a very empowering subject and song.
No one's going to know your gift and your voice more than you do. So why not take advantage of that?
I'll never forget, I see a guy standing there with a big chest pose, looking straight ahead, and says, "Joe Weider, trainer champion." In life right now, I love all people. Nobody's better than anybody because I don't have an ego.
If you don't help yourself out of a situation, no one else is going to. And it forced me to do something I always wanted to do, but I was too afraid to do it.
I don't understand something doesn't mean it's not valid, and you should respect everybody.
Yeah,
Treat everyone with respect, whether they, are like you or agree with you or not.
It's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that itch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, you gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you.
You know what? Maybe one of the world's problems will get solved by listening to this show.
Avi, I'm gonna win this whole thing. Watch.
I know you are, Tom. I know you are.
Oh.